gonna backtrack. And you should've kept my name out your mouth. Fast forward how it all turned out. When you try to use my name for clout, keep on going.
Little bad boy, look at you now. King for a day, you are wearing the crown. King for a day, you are wearing the crown. You really might have made your daddy proud. You really might have made your daddy proud. Y'all never thought he would come back around. You never thought he would. Here it is though, having a puff, blowing it now, building it up, just burning all down. Always a game, totally shameless. Pawns all fall down. Coming back for you. Coming back to you. I wrote this song in A minor. Get it? Because tricks aren't for kids. Now bad boy, what you gon' do? Now bad boy, what you gon' do? Feds all out here looking for you. They looking for you. And they all fall. Huffing, they puffing, they blew it all now. Built it up to burn it down. And playing a game that you never could win. Pawns all fall. Every promise you broke, every lie that you spoke. Coming back for you. Every time that you prayed, every move that you made. Coming back to you.
Hello everybody, hello everybody. How you doing this fine? It's only Tuesday. Here we are. Okay, I got here. The Hayes guy who's going to testify as the Punisher. Okay, y'all are already giving me... Oh, where's my banner? All right. Hello everybody. Good morning. I'm here for another day of Diddy trial live update shenanigans. The sources we have today on the lineup so far, we have a couple new ones. I don't know if it's going to be, thank you, Yasin with the Y. I don't know if it's going to be like all day, these same ones. We do have a couple new ones I want to try out. Let me show y'all. Okay, there's just my regular search. Obviously, we're going to be following Inner City Press, although he has not tweeted yet. Hopefully he gets there. Yeah, okay. Thank God he has tweeted. I lied. All right. So, well, I didn't lie because I didn't know, but he is tweeting. Okay, so we're going to be following Inner City Press. They're already arguing. Look, listen, I just said it yesterday. It doesn't matter how early I get on here. It just feels like I am rushing. Feels like they're already doing stuff. Feels like I'm already late. No, Cindy, I haven't heard that Gene Deal is going to be today. If he is, that would be wild, but I haven't heard that. I think actually somebody just told me yesterday in the chat, Gene Deal has said repeatedly, apparently, that he wasn't even around when Diddy was dating Cassie. He actually wasn't witness to any of that. Okay, so, oh my God, y'all, they missing 4 jurors. 4 jurors are missing. Okay, breaking news, 4 jurors are missing. So, let me just show y'all the lineup, what we're going to be looking at today, at least so far. We do have ABC News. They haven't updated for 2 hours. CNN, they're pretty quick. They did update 24 minutes ago. The judge was on the bench. The judge ready to go. Ain't nobody waiting on him today. We also have NBC News. We have the Daily Mail. This one's new. This is new. I mean, it is a tabloid. Take it with a grain of salt. But I don't know. Maybe they'll have some stuff in here. Maybe they will. I don't know. See new posts. Yeah. Also, they released some evidence yesterday that was shown to the jury. This is what the freak off. I mean, look, listen, who knows what he was really doing with all this stuff, but it definitely looks like they were prepping for one last freak off. This is pictures that were found in Diddy's hotel room last year, just September. Also, we're going to be looking at the Washington Post. They are on top of things already. Oh my God, y'all. They are arguing. Y'all, I'm going to have to start getting here at 8:30. They already started stuff 10 minutes ago. All right, we're also going to be looking at USA Today, which is new as well. They claiming that this is going to be live updates. I don't know if it will or won't. And then that's just the search. All right, so let's start with Inner City Press. He did tweet 7 minutes ago before the jurors even came in. Ooh. Ooh. Okay, we talking about Biggie. We talking about Suge Knight. We talking about D-Rock. Okay. Oh my gosh, y'all. Wait, David James was the one that went with Diddy to go to the diner with the Suge Knight. Whew. All right, this is what it says. It says 7 minutes ago, before the jurors even came in. Now, we did get told 3 minutes ago that there's 4 out of 12 jurors are late. I mean, that's a pretty big percentage of jurors. We oppose. So Diddy's lawyers are like, we oppose this assistant. David James started testifying yesterday, but he's not done. He was a former personal assistant from the years 2007 to 2009. And Diddy's lawyers are like, off the bat, we oppose this assistant testifying about the incident with Suge Knight. I bet they do. Just so y'all know, my nose gets itchy during the day. I have allergies to literally everything, probably makeup, fruit, the sun, the plants. And so when I'm doing this to my nose, I'm not actually touching up my makeup. I'm just avoiding like aggressively scratching my nose. It's just kind of like it tickles because I have allergies and I'm trying not to like, make noises and sniffing and stuff all day. It's aggravating. So if you don't like it, get off my channel because I'm not going to stop. Thank you. I just wanted to make that disclaimer. So Cassie testified. Okay, Cassie, victim 1, she testified that she was in the middle of a freak off and somebody came in to tell Diddy Suge Knight was at Mel's Diner. And they left the freak off to go and they had pew-pews. So now I guess they're going to get David James to testify about this. Well, Diddy's lawyer, Mark Agnifilo, said, no, we don't want him testifying about that. Because we don't want him testifying about the incident with Suge Knight, because he's going to mention D-Rock, who is another security guard, say he was a friend of Biggie Smalls, and that's decades ago. It's not relevant. The judge doesn't seem to be buying it. He said, seems like you're previewing your cross-examination. Okay, so 3 minutes ago, probably like 5, 6, 7 minutes ago at this point, the witness took the stand. The judge says, welcome, good morning, welcome back. And then the courtroom deputy says that they were missing 4 jurors. Inky. The judge said, okay, well, I guess we'll have to reconvene. So Inner City Press said, okay, judge said, okay, we'll reconvene. And then Inner City Press said he's got a vlog coming. Now we do have 2 updates from, okay, CNN has given us some tea, as it were, right here. Lawyers were debating this morning what Cassie's mom could say on the stand today. Prosecutors and Diddy's defense lawyers are debating, this was 4 minutes ago, upcoming testimony from David James, who will continue testifying this morning. Also, they were arguing, the 2 sides, arguing back and forth over what Cassie's mom, Regina Ventura, come through, Regina, is expected to say. Okay, listen to this. Oh, this is crazy. Okay, oh my God, we are getting the tea. Some tea. They keeping a lot of it to themselves in the back rooms, it seems. But, okay, so prosecutors argue that Regina Ventura, this is Cassie's mom, can testify that in December 2011, Diddy demanded that she, Cassie's mom, pay him $20,000 for money that Diddy spent on her daughter after he learned she was romantically involved with Kid Cudi. Okay, so in 2011, when Diddy learns Cassie was fooling around with Kid Cudi, apparently, according to this 5 minutes ago CNN update, apparently when Diddy found out Cassie was messing with Kid Cudi, then Diddy went to Cassie's mom and demanded $20,000. He was like, I need my money back for taking care of your daughter because that's your daughter. You should have been taking care of her. She cheated on me, so I need my money back. So prosecutors are arguing that Regina is going to testify to this. That's Cassie's mom. The money demand came within days of Diddy allegedly threatening Cassie and Kid Cudi, threatening to release the sexually explicit videos of her. And Cassie had also said, Diddy threatened to hurt Kid Cudi while they were out of the country or something. Whoa, this is crazy. Cassie's mom actually did take the money out of her account and wired $20,000 to Diddy because of the blackmail. It was blackmail money. Oh my God, y'all. This is reminding me of that lawsuit that, excuse me, what was her name? Charlene Latham. She filed against, I don't even think Diddy was listed. It was Jay-Z, Jeffrey Epstein, Harvey Weinstein, all these, Kanye West, all these people, y'all, the government of Qatar, all kind of stuff. And this person said that she was like basically abused and like trafficked as a child. And this was like a huge conspiracy theory lawsuit. Like you couldn't even talk about it without being called a conspiracy theorist. It was filed in 2020. Again, Jay-Z's the one sued, but she said that they were misappropriating Les Wexner's money, and then ended up being this family, all their kids were being trafficked. So they sued, apparently, or threatened to sue. And then there was a settlement. They used Jeffrey Epstein, used Les Wexner's money. Again, this lawsuit was considered to be frivolous at the time. It was dismissed. Nothing ever came of it. It was dismissed as frivolous. Nothing ever was argued. But she said this was the scheme. They paid them the settlement to keep them from suing, but then they would still keep trafficking them. So to make their money back from the settlement that they paid them. So it's like, it just feels like this, like, I don't know, this right here, if true, I don't know. We're reading it from CNN.com 7 minutes ago. I don't know if it's true. We are waiting for the jurors to get in. Some of them are running late. So the trial start is a little bit delayed. The money demand came within. Okay, so this right here does appear just on its face. I don't know, innocent until proven guilty, but it does appear on its face to be a little bit more like classical extortion or blackmail, where it's like, I have a tape of your daughter and I'm going to release it unless you pay me. I don't know if that's true. You know, I don't know. So that is what's being alleged here. The money came within days of Diddy allegedly threatening Cassie and Kid Cudi, threatening to release the sexually explicit video. Ventura, this is Cassie's mom, took out a loan and wired the money to Diddy. The money was wired back to her without explanation just days later. The government has bank records to support the transactions. So she sent him the money, but then he sent it back. Prosecutors say the jury should hear this evidence. They say it speaks to the coercive control. Yeah, I agree. I think this is totally relevant. The defense objected. So Diddy's lawyers, of course, do not want this to come in. They said it would be prejudicial. Yeah, well, it would absolutely be prejudicial, but it also is very relevant that this is how Diddy was operating. If there's bank transactions for this, I think it should come in. The defense attorney, Mark Agnifilo, also noted that Diddy gave the money back. Okay. So what? The judge said that Agnifilo, when the testimony comes up, then at that point, the judge will decide whether or not he wants to keep it in or leave it out. We have Inner City Press made a vlog. Let's see.
Tuesday, May 20th, 2025. Now we're going back in for the U.S. versus Sean Combs trial, day 7. Day 7 was with the personal assistant on the stand. The chef is coming up, also the mother of Cassie Ventura. Now, we're covering it in great detail, and you can find it on various platforms, including we did a week 1 ebook that's available on Google Play. You can find it.
So, yeah, the people that are scheduled to testify today are David James to complete and to finish, but we also are expected to hear from the so-called Punisher. You remember whenever Cassie was, oh, let me show y'all those while we're waiting too. They released the pictures of evidence, because this is what the jury saw in the media. Let me pull them up because we're waiting for the trial to start anyway. Hold on. I think I tweeted it. Let me go to Twitter. I want to show you all the pictures. Okay. So prosecutors released this photo, and look, y'all, I mean, if there was any remaining doubt at all whatsoever, boom, right there. Okay. Jonathan freaking Oddie. So I guess one of these people is the so-called alleged Punisher. I don't know which one. I don't know if this is 100% all the pictures they showed. How many is it? 8, 12, 13. So it's 13 of them. And look, boom, right there, Jonathan Oddie. This is the one that pew-pewed the Trump hotel, said that Diddy was in the boule, part of the Illuminati. Said he was Cassie and Diddy's sex slave. I mean, he said all kinds of stuff in that interrogation. And Cassie did confirm, yeah, I know him by name. And yes, I was also concerned and I don't know, like suspicious of him. We have an update on CNN. Oh, Diddy's sister is in court today. Okay, so his kids and his mom weren't in there yesterday, apparently, according to reports. The court is waiting on some jurors to arrive. Like yesterday, it appears the start of the testimony will be delayed because not all jurors are there. 4 jurors are not here today. Yesterday, proceedings were delayed because a juror was running late. Okay, so the jurors really need to try to get here on time. I understand that it is, New York, subways, et cetera, but you just got to leave your house earlier. I mean, you on a jury, you holding up the whole entire trial of the century.
But yesterday, in terms of the procedure and the openness of the trial, we have this development to report. Last week on Thursday, I filed into the docket a letter to say that.
I know it's quiet. I got to somehow figure out some kind of way. My eyes are so dry. My allergies are cutting up. Oh, I know it's quiet. I'm trying to figure out some way to figure out the speaker situation, but I'm just kind of listening. I'll tell y'all if it's anything super important. Just give me a second because we're still waiting for the trial, even the jurors to even get here. So we have time to kill.
Too much is not going into the docket. That every morning the lawyers come in and say what we filed overnight, Your Honor, and he issues rulings. Well, the way it works is that these are judicial documents. Anything that's submitted to a judge, particularly in a criminal case, but even in civil litigation, this is supposed to be public. And so he basically said, he said, we've received an application from the press. That's inner city press. Mm-hmm. And he directed them to, I guess, spend a week redacting the things they've been filing in the first part of the case so that next Tuesday they put them in. That's a week from today. And he said thereafter, do it once a week. I don't know. First of all, that's.
So he's talking about how this is just kind of a clown show, this trial a little bit, because they're supposed to do stuff like court is court for a reason. There's laws, there's rules, there's procedures. If you want to sort something out in the back end, that's what a plea deal is for. That's what civil court is for. Even then, it's supposed to be public. But especially in criminal trials, if you're wasting the people's time by bringing us all of our attention to it and doing all of that, then you are supposed to make every single aspect of it public. Sometimes there's exceptions, child, material, stuff like that, anything to do with minors, a lot of times will be redacted from public for obvious reasons. Sometimes certain victims of certain crimes, et cetera, but this is just legal arguments about evidence, and they are not posting it. They're not putting it to the docket. They're not going through the typical procedures that you would expect and that are required. And so Inner City Press, shout out to him. I do have his his Twitter linked below, and y'all can go and get to all his links there. He does excellent reporting, excellent job. Couldn't do it really without him. I mean, maybe I could kind of piece it together from the other news sources at this point, but he's really been on this beat for at least a year. So shout out to him. But he's filing stuff in court. He actually filed a thing in court to unseal all this super secret stuff that they keep trying to do all off in the back end. So the judge did say, yeah, okay, fine. We'll put all this on the docket, which, like, I guess it's just the honor system. I don't know who's going to, make sure it gets on, all 100% of it gets on there, which I think it should all have to be filed under seal on the docket, at least so nothing gets lost track of. Nobody listens to me. But the judge is giving them a long time to get this stuff up. And inner city press, I think rightfully, and I do agree with him, it's kind of like, this is not how it works. What is this? Super secret backroom bullshit.
It's on too much of a delay. And number two,
and the way that the judge did it, yeah, it's on so much of a delay that it's like a week from now whenever we actually find it as the public, when we actually see it, and it's going to be redacted. So, like, it's just not good enough, Judge Subramanian. Just so sorry, it's just not. It's not transparent at all.
I could see that sliding. He didn't say on which day of the week to do it, how to do it on a rolling basis.
Yeah.
So it seems like a setup for a problem. So there may have to be.
It seems like a setup for a problem. He didn't say what day of the week to do it. That is true. Also, it's just on the honor system. Like I'm saying, like, they already don't want this stuff going on the docket. So what's going to make them put it on the docket? They trying to redact everything. A setup for a problem is a great way to describe it.
Other filings, but at least we've gotten to first base. So we're leading off first, and we may try to steal second. Not steal second. We deserve second. So
right.
I actually just did I don't know, somebody else's podcast at greater length about this, and it did make me think that, one, Combs may be calling in the Georgia duo of Steele and Westmoreland more often, because they seem to take a more aggressive approach. And, just looking at it in terms of strategy, if you didn't plead guilty, it's because you think the witnesses are lying. And if you think the witnesses are lying, you should ask them, if you can, are you lying? Why is your story so different?
So that's something that has the people that have been inside the courtroom, they've been talking about this a lot. The Nicole Westmoreland and Brian Steele duo, and how good of a job Nicole Westmoreland did on her cross-examination. Like, even people that like think Diddy did it, they're like, if you need a lawyer, you need to hire Nicole Westmoreland. She is a boss. She tore it down. Like, yeah, she was kind of mean to Dawn Richard, and we like Dawn, but like, people in the courtroom were saying, like, she really should have been the one to do everything. She should have did the opening statement. Like, everybody's like, just fire every other lawyer and just keep Nicole Westmoreland. Like, that seems to be what people are saying, from what I can tell across the internet. And now we do have Inner City Press just a few moments ago, 7 minutes ago, saying it. He predicts that Diddy is actually going to start calling in Nicole Westmoreland and Brian Steele more, because they are more aggressive and probably do line up a little bit more with like how Diddy would prefer these witnesses be handled. Inner City Press just said, if you pled not guilty, it's because you saying the witnesses are lying. And if you think the witnesses are lying, you ought to have somebody push on that. Now, of course, there's another side of that where people say, like, if somebody is a victim, why do they need to be bullied on the stand? There's sides here, but I'm just saying this is what he just said.
That happens all the time. People speak to
the Biggie Smalls name check. It's interesting to know that Biggie Smalls is going to come up today. Okay. Or expected to come up today.
To the government a number of times, and the stories aren't always exactly the same. And it can be explained away, but if there's too many differences, this is what a cross-examination is supposed to focus on, not a bunch of reading back years and years of emails. Just to...
Wow, shady, slay. Okay, so Inner City Press is like, the whole point of a cross-examination is to poke holes in the story of the witness, to impeach their credibility, to hurt their credibility. And so Nicole Westmoreland, that's what she did. Not only was her style and her delivery very superior, but her actual strategy was more compelling, because what she ended up doing was shaking Dawn Richard on the stand, it sounds like, kind of like getting her into this sort of like stunned, and then poking. Is it safe to say your story's changed a few times? Is it safe to say you didn't remember this? Actually, let me count. Not one, not two, but 7 times you met with the government. You never said you got threatened. Are you telling me you met 7 times with the government and never told them you had a death threat? That doesn't make, or whatever, you know, like she was really going in. And then you get Agnifilo up there on the stand and he's like, excuse me, let me know if you need water. Excuse me, let me know. Oh, I'm so sorry to ask you this again. It's like, no, you gotta, you know, people are saying from inside the court, people who were going in there, if you're trying to defend yourself, you might want that.
Just a critique. Let me move to another.
Yeah, what he said that was shady is that, yeah, what Nicole Westmoreland is doing is what you're supposed to do. You're not supposed to have them reading 15-year-old texts like all day. Like that's really not helping you too much.
SDNY case. There's a number of them, and we do our best, especially now that the trial ends at 3, to run and cover them. Yesterday there was a white collar criminal called Leach. $600 million are missing. He's out on the lam. He's out on bail, and
Why is it that it's always $600 million? I have a theory that there's this one little stash of $600 million cash and it just gets passed around. I mean, seriously, that is my theory. Kylie Cosmetics sold half of the brand for $600 million in cash. Britney Spears' Stonebridge Investment Council shot up, not Britney Spears. Lou Taylor's Stonebridge Investment Council shot up $600 million. There's always a $600 million cash sum somewhere. Always.
have a trial in, I guess, April 2026. But there's another guy. It's even worse. Jonah Retchford. Now, if you're in New York.
Okay, he's done with the Diddy stuff. Let's see if anything has happened. We do have a couple of updates. I see one on CNN. Oh, we back on the stand. We on. We in. All right, let's go. Jurors have belatedly arrived. He is so funny. I love him. Y'all go subscribe to him. Okay, first question to David James. All right, y'all, here we go. Reporting live from Princeton, New Jersey on the Southern District of New York. United States versus Sean P. Diddy Puff Daddy Combs. We're on week 3 of trial, but we're only on week 2 of testimony. Second day of that week, whatever one you want to use. I'm saying week 3, day 2, Tuesday, May 20th, 9:28 a.m. And the jurors have belatedly arrived. On the stand is David James, a former bad boy / Diddy personal assistant or executive assistant. He was with Diddy. He was saying yesterday he had to work 20-hour days. The day went from 8 a.m. to 4 a.m. and he had to travel with Diddy. He said, I didn't cover this on my live yesterday. I didn't know, but I was watching Mims, who was inside the court house. Shout out to Mims, make it make sense. He said that David James testified yesterday that for all of this, he would make $70,000 a year. Now that was worth a little more in 2007 to 9 than it is today. I mean, this is about 10 years ago, 2007, 10, 15 years ago. So, I was 20. Golly, we getting old, y'all. My God. I don't feel it though. I don't really feel it. So, all right. So he's back on the stand. Yesterday it was also reported that he got emotional on the stand. He was had a tissue, he was wiping his eyes. He was reported to be doing, a good job though. Like he came across as credible because he came across as professional, concise, confident, and just kind of like clean, just kind of like sharp. I did find some videos. I found some old videos. One old video on Bad Boy Entertainment's YouTube channel, and we maybe can watch that later. It was weird. It was like a YouTube video they made. David James is in it. What else did we miss yesterday? I want to make sure we got everything that I remember. So So this David James, he was like a really close personal assistant, and he also is reported to be what was it? Oh, the writer. So he said that he was responsible for a bunch of different stuff. One of the things that David James says that he was responsible for was getting the hotel rooms ready for Diddy when they would travel. And so he said that there was a rider that had like the special requests that Diddy made for his hotel rooms. And he was like, yeah, I would say it was relatively unique, but they didn't really get into a lot of the details of that. Inner City Press did suspect that they would, or one of these sources we read yesterday did suspect or predict that they would be getting more into this hotel room rider today in today's testimony. The testimony yesterday on direct examination did get cut short. He started later in the day. Don Richard had to finish. Then Kerry Morgan testified yesterday, which was which was Cassie's best friend for a time. So, all right, 4 minutes ago, or probably about 10 minutes ago now, the jurors were back and the questioning has continued of David James. Okay. Did you observe any physical violence between Diddy and Cassie? He said, no, I did not. I didn't see any physical violence on either part. Do you remember a blog post? I don't know what it's about. We'll probably get it more from our other sources. Again, we have ABC, CNN, NBC, Daily Mail, which I don't know if that's going to actually be anything there, but we'll give it a shot. Washington Post, they're on it. And USA Today. All right. But here, 8 minutes ago, we have the assistant U.S. attorney saying, do you remember a blog post? And he's like, yes. I was in LA when Diddy came back from a club. What did Diddy say? He said that somebody was lying on him, saying he hit Cassie at the club. He went through my browser history. No one had ever done that to me. So there was some type of blog post. That said Diddy hit Cassie in a club. Then Diddy gets back to his house. I guess the assistant is there. And Diddy said somebody was lying on him. So at that point, he went through the assistant's browser history. 4 minutes ago, we get another update. Did Mr. Combs give you instructions about Cassie? Yes. To bring her food at the London hotel. Some Roscoe's. What is Roscoe's? He said some delicious fried chicken in Los Angeles. He is a Roscoe's fan. I've had Dave's chicken, but I haven't had Roscoe's. Oh yeah, I got to start doing my hearts. So Diddy tells this assistant, somebody's lying on me saying I hit Cassie. They lying. And then he goes through this assistant's browser history. And then he tells him, go bring Cassie some Roscoe's chicken. What did you do for Diddy in New York? I would bring him applesauce, Jello, Fiji water. I guess he don't like chewing. He had the veneers or something. Applesauce, Jello, and Fiji water. His toiletry bag with ointments just for men. Well, he don't have it in a jail because his hair is Old Man River. We bought 40 items so he wouldn't call us later. I would get a key, like at the Trump International. Now, this Trump International ends up being important, y'all, because Jonathan Oddie went to the Trump Doral golf course to do his pew-pewing. Okay, so the Trump piece fits in. When Kanye West was locked up in 2016, a lot of these people overlap between these two stories. Kanye West locked up in 2016. As soon as he got out, you know where he went? To see Trump. Trump wasn't even the president yet in 2016 when Kanye went. So Trump keeps coming up. I'd set the medicine, excuse me. The assistant said, I would then set up the medicine bag in the personal Louis Vuitton bag. What was in it? Oh, one of them little blue pills, you know, that the men start taking at a certain age or whatever. Perks. Oh my God. How did you go about replenishing these supplies? He said, I used my personal credit card and bad boy paid me back. Yeah, but how'd you get it? All right, we do have some updates already from CNN. Let's go there. Diddy's sister is in court today. I did want to let y'all know. His mom and his kids, who have been inside the courtroom on other days, are not here today, at least yet, as of 20 minutes ago. Diddy is now wearing a heather blue sweater, a white collared shirt, and dark gray pants. He's talking to his attorney, Mark Agnifilo, waiting for court to begin. His former assistant back on the stand 13 minutes ago. The jury is entering now. 7 minutes ago, ex-assistant. All right, we're getting some more details. That's good. I like to get all the details we can get. The ex-assistant heard Diddy and Cassie arguing with each other, but he did not see the violence. He was the assistant from 2007 to 2009. He testified that he did not personally observe any physical violence between them, but he did hear them argue about Cassie's career. So they would argue during Cassie's career. She would express a desire to branch out more into modeling and acting, but Diddy would tell her she needed to focus on her music career. Let's go to ABC. I'm just going to press I guess they actually are live reporting. Let's go to NBC. So 40 minutes ago, David James and attorneys arrived to court. David James, Diddy's former personal assistant, who will testify today, was seen arriving at court shortly after 8 a.m. Other arrivals this morning included Agnifilo, Anna Estevallo, Xavier Donaldson, Alexandra Shapiro, Teeny Garagos, and Brian Steele. 13 minutes ago, NBC, Adam Rice and Marlena Lenpang reporting court was officially in session. Kicking off day 7 of the testimony in the trial, David James returned to the witness stand for his second day. This is also same authors of testimony. He appeared to be wearing the same blue suit and white shirt as yesterday. So he wore his same outfit. He's like, this is my outfit. Okay, I'm not bringing all these freaking extra outfits. All right. Let's go to Daily Mail and see if they gave us anything. Okay. Oh, look, there he is. Okay. Suge Knight claims Trump is going to pardon Diddy. Diddy, longtime rival Suge Knight, sensationally warned that President Donald Trump would pardon the disgraced music executive if he's convicted. Suge made the bombshell allegations on Wednesday, hours after Cassie addressed the feud during her testimony in his criminal trial. And look, I'm telling y'all, he keeps coming up. He keeps coming up. Here's David James right here. 9:32, so this is about 5 minutes ago. Cassie named David James as one of the assistants who facilitated the alleged freak-offs. He worked as a personal assistant for Diddy from May 2007 to May 2009. The court heard this on Monday. Diddy's former assistant, David James, told the court he applied to work for the mogul because he wanted a career in fashion. He was emotional and crying yesterday as he described his first days working for Diddy. He said one of the executives at Bad Boy Entertainment told him his job was to please the mogul. I remember sitting at her desk and there was a picture of Diddy on the wall. She pointed at the wall and said, "This is Mr. Combs' kingdom, and we are all here to serve him." Let's go to Washington Post. All right. So Anne Brannigan from the Washington Post says the defense is not denying that Diddy demanded $20,000 from Cassie's mom. But the lawyers are arguing that this exchange wasn't relevant. Cassie's mom did wire money to Combs, but it was returned shortly after. No money ever left Cassie's possession. No money ever left Regina's possession in an ongoing basis. Mark Agnifilo said, adding that anecdote introduces confusion without a great deal of purpose. No. It is purpose. That shows blackmail, in my opinion. Innocent until proven guilty. But send me money so I don't release a S tape of your daughter, and then this lady had to go and actually get a loan to send the money. No, I think that's relevant, buddy. Diddy is sitting directly to Agnifilo's left at the defense table in a blue sweater, white collared shirt. His legs were crossed and his hands were on his lap. Same author, Anne Brannigan, Washington Post, said the judge said he would actually like to see Regina Ventura's testimony first before making a ruling that could limit her ability to talk about the $20,000 that she wired to Diddy in 2011. Prosecutors have framed this transaction of $20,000 as compensation for money Diddy spent on Cassie. The prosecution said it believes that the exchange speaks to the coercion and control Diddy exercised over Cassie during their relationship. 33 minutes ago, same author, David James, former personal assistant to Diddy, is back on the stand after the judge overruled an objection from the defense. He's expected to discuss an incident involving Diddy's industry rival, record producer Suge Knight. The defense attorney, Mark Agnifilo, said the anecdote was irrelevant and not about anything that we're doing in this courtroom. I don't know. Maybe it would be. I don't know. But Suge Knight was also yapping his flapper just last week about this trial. But here you see Mark Agnifilo is trying very hard to keep evidence out of this case. He's trying to keep this out. He's trying to keep all kind of stuff out. They tried to keep the freaking CNN video out. Imagine if they would have been able to keep that out. Puh. Anyway, now he's trying to keep out Suge Knight evidence. He's trying to keep out evidence about Cassie's mom wiring money. It's looking pretty dicey over there for the defense, if you ask me. Okay, 30 minutes ago, another Washington Post update from Anne Brannigan. She said the judge has repeatedly praised the jury's timeliness, noting at the start of the court yesterday, the conscientious juror number 5 had alerted the court that they would be 10 minutes early, not 15. Nevertheless, the start of the testimony has been delayed briefly as 4 jurors had yet to arrive by 9. The judge did note that there were possible train problems. 16 minutes ago, and I think the judge might even take the train to work because I saw him walking in with his little backpack the other day in a TMZ pic. David James, so this is 16 minutes ago, he told the court yesterday afternoon that he would often work 6 or 7 days a week, sometimes 20 hours a day, sometimes for weeks on end. He recounted that while interviewing for the job, he was told by an HR executive at Bad Boy, "This is Mr. Combs' kingdom. We're all here to serve it." The government hopes to use James' ongoing testimony to help establish the racketeering charge against Diddy. So the feds are hoping to use this man's testimony for bolstering the racketeering. So all the people that are all in the chat, all the bots, all the paid actors, all the agents of chaos who are saying, "Oh, see Rico, let's see his domestic violence." It's like, okay, girl, just wait. Just wait. Okay, it's coming. David James is being used for that. Okay. That appears to be the most recent there. What is this? What am I looking at? This is supposedly Diddy trial update. So where's the updates? Hold on, let me see. This is a new one. This is a new source I don't usually use. They're not really telling me what happened today yet. So we might not end up using that one. Let's go to Inner City Press. Okay. We do have. Oh, yeah. We have some more tweets, y'all. All right. Here we go. 14 minutes ago. And what did you do for Mr. Combs in New York? This is the most. Oh, no. I got to keep. Okay. So the most recent tweet is this. I would set up a medicine. This is the most recent one we read. The guy says, David James says, I would set up a medicine bag in the personal LV bag. That's Louis Vuitton. That was it. Oh, was that it? Sorry. Getting ahead of myself. I'm like trying to read too far ahead. The prosecutor said, what was in it? What was in this personal medicine bag? He said, arousal pill, starting with the V, EX, other types of OPIs. How did you go about replenishing these supplies? He said, I would use my personal credit card and Bad Boy would pay me back. Who would pay you back specifically? He said, usually Bonds. This is Roger Bonds, security guy. Did Diddy ever stay alone? Did Diddy ever stay alone in a hotel? Never. David said, usually Cassie, sometimes other women. Did he ask you for things during a stay? Sometimes he would text me for an iPod or food. Okay, y'all. The question is, did anything strange ever happen? He said, yes, in Miami. He asked for an iPod from his house on Star Island. I drove it to his hotel and I knocked. There was no answer. I had the key. I set up the room. What did you see? He said it was Cassie on the bed. There was another person who sort of scurried away and the shower was on. I thought Diddy was in there. How was she sleeping? On her back? Objection, Your Honor. Oh, sustain, the judge said. So you can't ask that question like that. Oh my God, this is the Punisher. We're meeting the Punisher. We have to. What about the other person? He was about 5'8", David James says, long hair and had a large endowment. Did you ask anything? He said, nope. I wasn't hired to ask about personal affairs. Because remember, he testified yesterday that he would be warned by people. Don't ask questions. That's not what you were hired to do. That's not your job. Did you ever pick up? Yep. Karen Molinga had said, brick by brick, they build in the case. Yes, they are. Yes, they freaking are. Ooh, it's cool to watch it play out in this kind of like up close, detail by detail like this. Did you ever pick up substances for Diddy? He said, yes. Stuff at a pharmacy, sometimes in my name. Whoo! And y'all, we can go and revisit those pharmacy bottles, but I made a whole video. I recorded one this morning before. I recorded 3 BJ Investigates this morning, y'all. I've been waking up at 4 a.m. All right. Legal Fund linked below. Okay. But I did record a video about this, like the pill bottle, the Frank Black, the Frank White, who are the pharmacists, who are the all that. I need to look into that more, but I do have a video coming on some of this stuff. The guy says, David James says, yeah, I would pick up the PERKs, if you know what I mean, makes you perk, perk, sometimes in my name. He said, sometimes it would be David James. They looked like it was for me. Then I would bring it to Diddy or whoever. Did you ever give Diddy permission to use your name? He said, no, I don't recall. Maybe he did. He don't remember. Was there a substance dealer? Yes. One stop. 2 minutes ago, we get another tweet. And he met with a lot of people. Okay. Oh my God, y'all. Oh my gosh. Oh my God, this is getting deleted. Holy breaking news. Barack Obama met with One Stop. Is it? No, yeah. Oh my God, the judge is like, who is this judge appointed by? Is he Obama appointee? Oh my God, the drama. He met with a lot of people, even former presidents. Which one? Oh, this prosecutor is messy. Maybe she's trying to make it be like, so Trump don't pardon him. Like, look, this is Obama. Who knows? Oh my gosh. Oh, what was your understanding of what would have happened if you didn't do these things? Objection, Your Honor. Sustained. All right, so she's not allowed to ask that. Did you ever take EX? He said, yeah. Diddy bopping. We are learning so much, y'all. Did you ever take EX? Yes. I was drinking Ciroc. I took EX. I was Diddy bopping. What? What do you mean? He said, I was vibing. She said, did you speak with Diddy about it? He said he was reviewing footage of the party. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Party footage mentioned. Because one thing I've kind of had a little bit of suspicion about myself, kind of had a little tinfoil hat on myself, was that this case involves high-level people, including former presidents, including maybe current ones. Don't come for me. That's just what I think. And also that this was parties. This is like the Diddy party, right? Like, okay, yeah, Cassie in a freak off, Cassie in a room, Cassie, that's a crime. You know, if these things are true, that's a crime. But what about all these Diddy parties? What about all these Diddy parties that all these civil lawsuits are about? We're not going to mention parties. We're not going to mention any of that. It's just going to be, oh, Diddy and a couple S workers and Cassie. That's what we doing now in the criminal case. They mention in parties now, it looks. Look, I was Diddy bopping. What was Diddy doing? Oh, he was reviewing footage of the party 2 minutes ago. He said, we had a videographer who filmed the parties. He asked me, hey, Playboy, was that you dancing around at the party? I said, yeah. And he said, I'm going to keep the video in case I ever need it. Blackmail footage. Here we go. Here we freaking go. We had a videographer, and the videographer, according to testimony, told David James, quote, was that you dancing around at the party? He said when he had the EX. Yeah, I said, yeah, I was having fun. What? I was Diddy bopping. I'm going to keep the video in case I ever need it. The assistant U.S. attorney said, what do you think that meant? He said that I would be embarrassed. They would release, it would be blackmail. Did anything ever go missing? Well, they said a bracelet was missing. Uncle Paulie, another security guard, came to my hotel room and searched all my belongings, and my girlfriend at the time searched all her belongings. Could you have said no? Objection, Your Honor. What do you mean? The judge said, come on, next question. Move along. What about that well endowment? 4 seconds ago, did you ever have to take a lie detector test? Oh, the Scientology of it all. Yes. Who was present? Just me and this gentleman. It was very intimidating. They put monitors on my head, my chest, and my hand. Could you refuse? No, I had to do it to keep my job. Oh my God. I got to retweet these. Wow. 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 All right, let's. Oh. What is this? I'm going to back to his front main page. Okay, let's go to ABC. I don't guess they actually do an updates today. The most recent update was 4 hours ago. Oh, no. Okay. 4 minutes ago, excuse me. Okay, all right. Get rid of this. Get rid of that part. All right. He did testify with some quotes yesterday. I did want to read into the reaction record here. He testified yesterday. Cassie once told him she could not leave Diddy because he controlled too much of her life. Quote, she was like, I can't get out. You know, Diddy oversees so much of my life. He testified. He's expected to testify today about a time when Diddy and others allegedly went to confront Suge Knight at a restaurant named Mel's Diner. Cassie had previously testified about the alleged incident. Diddy and I were having a freak off at one of his homes in LA. And I just remember we were kind of like just chilling at this point. And D-Rock came in and he said Suge was down at Mel's Diner, which was just right down the hill. And they quickly packed up and drove there. I was crying. I was screaming like, please don't do anything stupid. Diddy's attorneys were trying to convince the jury jealousy and drug use caused him to be violent, but the prosecutors contend that Diddy's violence was meant to coerce Cassie into these freak-offs with male escorts. One of those escorts, who Cassie previously testified she knew as, quote, the Punisher, is expected to testify today. Now, I wonder if that was him scurrying. Out of the room. Cassie's mom also is expected to testify today regarding video recordings of freak-offs that her daughter described in previous testimony as blackmail materials. And then that was overturned, sustained, not allowed to come into the record. As well as she also testified about injuries on Cassie's body that the jury has already seen in photographs. And also those pictures have been also released, but I'm not going to pull them up on my channel. Okay. Whoo, y'all, we got 3 updates from CNN. They're flying in. Diddy confronted David James over a blog post alleging an assault on Cassie. Former assistant testifies. He testified he was on the computer at Diddy's house one night, and Diddy was out at a club with Cassie, another assistant, and a security guard. As soon as he entered the door, he beelined straight for me and pulled up the computer search history. So he beelined straight for him and looking at the computer search history. According to this testimony, Diddy told him somebody had written a blog post, quote, lying about him, hitting Cassie, and he wanted to see if David James had written it. David James said he did not see Cassie that night, but 2 days later, Diddy directed David James to bring Cassie food at a nearby hotel. When David James brought the food to the hotel, he was, quote, surprised to see a member of Diddy's staff answer the door instead of Cassie. She stayed at the hotel for about a week. So Cassie wasn't in there just alone. It was somebody else in there with her. Diddy's ex-assistant describes how he would stock hotel rooms for the rapper. All right, here we go. 10 minutes ago, CNN.com. David James, former assistant for Diddy, testified he often set up hotel rooms for Diddy. If Diddy was staying in New York, his favorite hotel was the Trump International. David James said he would set stuff up for Diddy before the arrival, including clothes, a toiletry bag, a medicine bag, food, and drinks. And this was all set up just like how they found these pictures yesterday that were released to the public. I mean, there was food, there was apples, there was juice, there was toiletry bags, medicine bags. He said he would organize a collection of about 40 products, mostly skincare, for Diddy in the hotel bathroom. And there was a lot of skincare in the bathroom in the pictures that got released. The medicine bag typically carried between 25 and 30 pill bottles. Wow. Included EX, PERs. Some bottles were unmarked, he said. Security typically carried a Louis Vuitton bag, which held personal items and typically $10,000 or more in cash. James said he would often have to replenish the items for Diddy during the trips. If he was restocking food and drinks, he would pay for them himself and get reimbursed by Bad Boy Entertainment. When he restocked personal items such as baby oil, lubricant, and condoms, he would ask security to be reimbursed from the cash in Combs's bag. And remember, they did find $9,000 in the fanny pack in the hotel on the day he was arrested. When asked if Diddy would stay alone when he traveled, he said, I don't think he ever stayed alone. He said typically it would be Cassie who would stay with him, but there were other women as well. Another update. Diddy asked for an iPod delivery to hotel room where Cassie was found unresponsive. David James, a former assistant to Diddy, testified that sometimes Diddy would ask him to bring certain items, usually an iPod or food, to the hotel room when he was staying there. He recounted an incident in Miami around 2008, the year Britney went into a conservatorship. Don't forget about Britney Spears. Going to come important, I promise you. He recounted an incident in Miami in 2008 or around 2008 when Diddy asked him to bring an iPod to his hotel room. David James said it took him about an hour to get there. When he finally knocked on the door, nobody answered. He entered the room with his own key and he saw Cassie lying on her back in the hotel room with a white comforter up to her neck. She did not move when I entered the room. Diddy was in the shower, he said, and he mentioned that he did not speak with Diddy or Ventura about the incident after because it wasn't his job to discuss personal affairs. Well, CNN sure did leave out the well-endowed man that was scurrying away. We do have 4 updates from Okay. 5 updates from NBC. 22 minutes ago, James said Combs searched his computer history for a blog post on Cassie abuse. David James said he didn't witness any physical violence. He did see a blog post alleging that Diddy hit Cassie at a club. He allegedly searched Diddy allegedly searched James' computer history and became upset, telling him someone was lying. The former assistant said it was, quote, jarring, because he had never done that before, search his computer. James looked for the post because Cassie had been staying at the London hotel for a week, and he was tasked with bringing her food. But Diddy's personal staff was answering the door. I was surprised, he said. This is a quote. I was expecting to see Cassie. She usually answered the door. Cassie testified last week that Diddy put her up in the London hotel after allegedly attacking her in the back of a car while leaving an event. She told the court that she didn't feel as if she could leave and that Diddy's security was there. So this kind of corroborates her story. Standard overnight bag in Diddy's world, $10,000 cash and Viagra. David James told jurors that Diddy didn't travel light and had a long laundry list of items to be packed in his overnight bags. His Louis Vuitton regularly carried $10,000 in cash and sometimes much more. His medicine bag included 25 to 30 undisclosed pill bottles along with Advil, Tylenol, and the arousal pill. Pills to increase sperm count as well, and water pills. He later, why would he have that? He later added that Percocet and EX were in the medicine bag and that he did witness Diddy taking both. He also said he was instructed to buy baby oil, Astroglide, and protection for trips and cash so Diddy could reimburse him personally off the company books. Former assistant saw Cassie in a hotel bed and a stranger while Diddy showered. David James testified that he walked into a hotel room to deliver items for Diddy when he saw Cassie in a hotel bed with a man he did not know in the room. He said it was in Miami in 2008. Diddy requested him to bring an iPad, it probably was an iPod, to the room. When nobody answered, he testified that he just used his key to let himself in. He said that he saw Cassie apparently sleeping with a comforter pulled up to her neck while Diddy was in the shower. He testified he saw a man with long hair walk across the room. He left out the large endowment again, NBC News. I never spoke to them about it. I just thought they were doing personal things. I never had conversations with Cassie or Diddy about their personal affairs. And of course, that would be a part of his job. Y'all, they are going so fast they can't even spell drugs. Let's go to Inner City Press. Okay. Now, where we left off with Inner City Press, they were doing brain scans on this man and doing lie detector tests, okay? And did it ever happen again? He said, yes, it happened again. When Diddy said a watch of his had been stolen. What was the result? He said, well, the gentleman told me I seemed nervous. I said, sure, I am. Once, Capricorn Clark had to take a lie detector test to prove she wasn't part of a heist of Diddy's jewelry. Was there an incident? Okay, here we go, Suge Knight. Was there an incident at Mel's Diner with Suge Knight? Yes. I drove the Silver Navigator to get cheeseburgers there. D-Rock said, that's Mother Suge Knight. He went over and said, what's up? Suge did not recognize him. D-Rock said, I'm Biggie's boy. What happened next? David James said, we noticed 4 black SUVs to different sides of the parking lot. I saw someone hand Suge Knight a pew-pew. Oh, here we go. I saw someone hand Suge Knight a pew-pew. We got out of there. We got to get out of here. We drove back to the house. What did you find there? Cassie, she was crying. Diddy got in the vehicle. I saw 3 pew-pew on his lap. 27 seconds ago, I felt calm because we'd been in a silver vehicle, now a black one, so they wouldn't see us coming. What did you find at Mel's Diner? He said, well, Suge Knight had left. So Diddy said, drive around the block. So he was driving. David James, according to his testimony. The FBI is all over this. Look at this freaking stuff. Diddy brought in, this is NBC News, Adam Rice and Doha Madini. Diddy brought in FBI lie detector specialist to question assistant. A specialist conducted it on James at least twice while he worked as his assistant. He told the court that his fear his first year working for Diddy, some money went missing. And Diddy had a former FBI agent, I wonder if it was Kenneth Maxwell, who specialized in polygraphs to interview him. It was very intimidating. I never had taken a lie detector test before. He added the second time it occurred was after a watch went missing, and also testified that Diddy's security searched his clothes and his drawers when a Cartier bracelet went missing. So 3 different times he was kind of searched. One new update from NBC 3 minutes ago. He kept video of this assistant dancing at a New Year's Eve party. Now, remember, Cassie said she was always upset she could never go to the New Year's Eve party because guess who got to go to those? The queen herself, Kim Porter, the main girlfriend. That's what they called her. Diddy kept a video of an assistant dancing at this party. This is David James. Also, the authors here, NBC News, Adam Rice and David K. Lee, L-I. That's how he spells it. So David James recalled how he once got inebriated on EX at a New Year's Eve party, and this was to his choice, he said. His dancing was caught on camera, and this was kept on footage allegedly kept by Diddy. Okay, I'll keep the video if I need it. He said, quoting his then boss, he thought it would be embarrassing for me. This minor detail could be helpful for prosecutors to build their greater narrative that Diddy allegedly did use his business to control people in his sphere. Let's see if Daily Mail has any updates. This is a new source for us today. I don't know if we'll keep going with this or not, but let's just see. All right. The Suge Knight incident. Oh, my Lord, y'all. Yes. Thank God we got Daily Mail on the case. Oh, good. Oh, my goodness. We got some updates. There's Cassie's mom. Cassie's mom, Regina, arrives to court. Yes. Slay. Go, go. Go. She arrived Monday in Manhattan because she was the one who had to take out a loan and send Diddy $20,000 so that, the tape didn't get released. She's expected to testify about Diddy's alleged abuse and threatening of Cassie. That's her. Okay. We have another update. We have a few from Daily Mail. Diddy's medicine bag. Diet pills and with Obama's face on them, y'all. Substances with Obama's face on them. Obama has now come up 2 times. Diddy's former assistant told the court, the mogul always traveled. They can't spell, y'all. They trying so fast. Always traveled with the medicine bag that contained about 30 different bottles of pills, some Advil, some Tylenol. He had water pills to help him lose weight. Oh, that's what they were for. Other things that help increase his other things. He would take OPIs throughout the day and EX at night. When asked, the assistant said one of the EX pills was in the shape of former President Obama's face. Oh my God. Suge Knight incident comes up again. This is Daily Mail. Suge Knight incident comes up again during Diddy trial. Diddy's former assistant is being questioned about an incident Cassie mentioned during her time on the stand. Cassie claimed Diddy once left her at an FO at his LA house to confront rival record executive Suge Knight at Mel's Drive-In, a landmark diner nearby. D-Rock came in and said Suge was down at a diner. Diddy drove over there. I cried. I said, don't do something stupid. Cassie had testified. She said, it was like I wasn't even there. This is a new quote. I haven't read this one. Quote, it was like I wasn't even there. They put on a bunch of black clothes, went in the safe, grabbed pew pew. Next thing I knew, they're in the SUV just whipping it down there. I saw them get dressed and leave the house. Their beef began in the mid-90s. Okay. So that's the most recent there. We do have an update from CNN. Former assistant alleges intimidating searches and lie detector tests over Diddy's missing items. David James, a former assistant, testified about an incident when one of Diddy's Cartier bracelets went missing, prompting his securities to search through all of his and his then girlfriend's belongings. He said he felt he couldn't refuse the search. On another occasion, when Diddy's possessions went missing, David James had to take a lie detector test administered by a man who claimed to have formerly worked for the FBI. This also does reaffirm another one of Jonathan Ottie's former crazy conspiracy allegations. I mean, I don't know if it really did happen in either of these cases, but Jonathan Oddie did say Diddy was able to co-opt federal and government resources to turn them on him. And he said, Jonathan Oddie said what they were trying to do was like turn it around back on Jonathan Oddie. And that's why he said he took the video in the first place. He said, if something happened, I didn't want to get blamed for it. So I needed insurance. And meaning if someone unalived, he's like, I felt like they were going to blame me. So David James said it was very intimidating. On both occasions, the results showed no discrepancies. He said, so he didn't lie. He did say another employee, Capricorn Clark, also had to take a lie detector test previously. Okay, we do have another update about how he got the rugs, the Dougs. We'll start calling them Dougs, y'all. He was detailing at several occasions where he supplied Diddy's friends with Dougs. Oh, I like that new word. I'm glad they did that misspell on CNN. David James, okay, on a trip with Diddy to Saint-Tropez, a friend of Diddy texted David James asking him to get cocaine. He said that he arranged for it to be dropped off to the friend, but said Diddy didn't ask him to do it. He said he just assumed he had to do it. On another occasion, during a party in LA, David James recalled how Diddy sent him back to the house to get EX for a friend. He said he went back to the house to get it in the medicine from the medicine bag, and then he went back to the party. Who's the friend? Who is the friend? We got another update here. Ex-assistant describes what he says was Combs' Doug use. He said he saw him take the Dougs and give them to friends. On a couple occasions, he procured them for the friends. A person called One Stop often bought the rugs. Brought. He understood that James said he understood that Diddy did take PER OPIs while he was operating the businesses, and he preferred to take the EX at the nighttime. Let's go back to Inner City Press. Okay. So, what did you find at Mel's Diner? He said Suge Knight had left. And then Diddy told him to drive around the block. So then the attorney says, the U.S. attorney, the feds, they asked David James, they say, okay, fine. So then what did you decide? He said, I had to leave the company. They offered me other positions, but I just wanted to leave. My life was at risk. No further questions. Judge looks over to Agnifilo. So now it's time for cross-examination. Tuesday, May 20th at about 10 a.m., around 10 a.m., between 10 and 10:10. Cross-examination of former assistant David James does start. Agnifilo said, you didn't tell all this story the first time you told your story. I guess he's taking notes from Nicole Westmoreland. He's taking a page out of her book, because now here's Agnifilo. You didn't say all this last time. He said, they told me to stop. They told me not to say anything that would incriminate me. Oh, so he might have a deal. Look at these notes from your interview. Read it to yourself, then look up at me. He said, okay. This is Agnifilo. How did you recognize Suge Knight? He said, I just did. Like, I listen to hip hop. Were you drinking or smoking anything that night? No, sir. Was your mind clear? He said, clear as it could be. I was working 20 hours a week. It was 4 a.m. D-Rock opens the door. Suge Knight is a few cars over. He said, yeah, and the window was open. I'm updating Inner City Press. We got another one, y'all. D-Rock says, I'm Biggie's boy. So this D-Rock is the security guard, all right? So in the car, at first, it's only David James and D-Rock. So the security and the assistant, they had gone to get something, I guess, from somewhere, whatever. I don't even remember. But like they were at Mel's Diner, and Diddy's security guard recognizes Suge Knight. And he walks up to Suge and he says, gives him a dab. What's a dab? Like, dap, whatever. Dap. I think it's dap. I think a dab is something different. Did you leave D-Rock at the diner? Why are you smiling? He said, because that's a crazy question. Why would I leave D-Rock? Mark Agnifilo. Oh, man. Mark Agnifilo. You're like, so did you leave D-Rock at the diner? Why are you smiling? He's like, because you're asking stupid questions and you sound stupid. What do you freaking mean? Did I leave D-Rock at the... No, I didn't leave him at the diner, stupid. We get another tweet. He said, that makes no sense. He said, I'm not asking you what makes sense, son. I'm asking, did you leave him at the diner? He's like, no. So you saw Cassie and Mr. Combs? David James said, yes. Diddy told me to drive. Seriously, Majesty, he is. He is. This is funny. I like these like courtroom like shenanigans. It does add a little bit of like, there is no such thing as the notion of comic relief. Like adding a little like tee kiki here and there, kind of like helps the psychological processing of like this other stuff going on. I mean, I think that is why people do make jokes at inopportune times from time to time. We do have some updates. Oh God, is Chloe Malos one of them? Can't trust her. All right, yeah, okay, no, she's not. She don't work here no more. I forgot. Okay. Oh wow, there's another picture of him. He's funny, Slay. We already read the Sandra Pay one. All right, ex-assistant alleges intimidating searches and lie detector tests over Diddy's missing items. Okay, I think we already saw that. They just added a picture. Cross-examination. Cross-examination began 4 minutes ago. And right off the bat, Agnifilo, he doesn't do good starting out. He's always got a stumbling block. Remember when he asked Cassie, or who was it he asked? Oh, Kerry Morgan. So you were best friends with Cassie since 2004. And she's like, actually, it was 2001. It's like the first question. So now Agnifilo is questioning. Let's go to the Washington Post. I've been there in a while. They're the details queens. Okay. Diddy traveled with a large supply of prescription and illegal substances, including pills that were stamped with President Barack Obama's face on them, his former assistant claims. This is from Ann Brannigan at Washington Post. Personal assistant describes Diddy's hotel supplies. He would have hotel rooms stocked with 40 kinds of skincare products, a Jordan brand sweatsuit, and applesauce, along with an assortment of rugs, baby oil, and what did Bruce Rivers, criminal lawyer? Something gel. Pleasure something. He called it something gel. And his former personal assistant. Okay, so said his former personal assistant 6 minutes ago, describing the prep he would do. This is Ann Brannigan again, Washington Post, for the hotel rooms. He was reimbursed by Bad Boy Entertainment for expenses such as medicine and snacks, but for certain supplies, the former personal assistant said, such as baby oil, Astroglide protection, he was told to be reimbursed by the security staff who would pay him in cash out of Diddy's Louis Vuitton bag. 2 minutes ago, Shayna Jacobs is reporting Diddy had 3 pew-pew on his lap. Okay, so Cassie said 2. Now it's 3. 3 on his lap when he ordered members of the entourage to go to Mel's Diner in L.A. early one morning, like 4 a.m., to confront a rival record mogul, Suge Knight. Former assistant testified today. Diddy demanded that James drive to the restaurant around 4 a.m. and then circle the block after they failed to spot Suge Knight's Cadillac Escalade in the parking lot. He said, quote, "I remember thinking there's 3 guns and 3 people in this car." So he was thinking he was getting set up. Like, someone's going to pew pew out of this car and they're going to both say it was me, maybe. I mean, there's 3 pew pews and 3 people. He's like, I had to quit. He said, I had to quit. I'm glad. Thank you, Shayna Jacobs, for giving that, that quote, because it does give us more context. Now I'm refreshing on USA Today. I mean, they're alleging that they have live. This isn't live coverage. Okay, let's go to Inner City Press. And you don't know where Diddy got the pew pews from, do you? He said, I didn't even know we had that. I didn't even know we had those types of things around until that day. Have you ever been in a situation like that? He said, no. You didn't say, I don't want to drive to Suge Knight with guns. He said, no, I didn't say that. Again, I could see why he didn't. We have an update from CNN. Okay. More quotes, more context we get from this. Former assistant describes incident, this is CNN.com, involving Suge Knight. David James testified on an occasion when he went with Combs' security guard to a diner to get some food for Diddy and the staff. And when they got there, the security guard saw Diddy's rival, Marion Suge Knight. And they approached him. They talked briefly before the guard and David James, went inside to order. When they went back to Diddy's house, Diddy and Cassie were outside the house arguing, and it looked like she had been crying. Now, she said they were just chilling at that point. So I don't know if they were just chilling or if they were arguing. The stories don't add up, actually. Diddy then ordered David James to drive him and the security guard back to the diner to look for Suge Knight. Diddy sat in the back seat with 3 pew-pews in his lap. However, Suge Knight was gone when they got back to the restaurant. David James said he was, quote, shook up by the incident, and it was the first time he felt like he was in danger as Diddy's assistant. He said he gave his 2-week notice, soon after the incident, offering to stay with Diddy for 6 months to train a replacement, and he left Diddy's company in 2009. So it was the Suge Knight incident that prompted him to quit, according to his testimony. This is coming 2 minutes ago from Adam Rice and David K. Lee. David James said he was shook. He seems funny. He seems very funny. He said he was shook after seeing the desire of Diddy's team to grab Pew Pew and confront Suge Knight at an LA diner in 2008. The witness recalled an incident when the team was out getting a late snack at Mel's Drive-In when Diddy's confidant, D-Rock, spotted Suge Knight there and, quote, "That's mother Suge Knight." David James said that Diddy's team met up with Diddy back at his house and then armed himself with 3 pew-pew to go and possibly confront Knight. The incident is what prompted him to quit, he testified. Quote, "I was really shook up by it. This was the first time as his assistant that I realized my life was in danger." This is a quote. "I told him I want to leave, but I gave 6 months notice so I could train the next assistant." So he was at least allowed to leave. That might help Diddy's case. Ah. Ah. Oh, my Lord. What exactly did you do before you got this job? He said, I was a door-to-door salesman and then a personal assistant. So now you were going with pew pew to confront someone? He said, it was not ideal. He's funny. But you knew how to get to Mel's Diner, right? He said, yeah, I went there all the time. But you never saw pew pew before, right? No, never. And this is a radical department. Sorry, excuse me. This is a radical departure from your job description. Is that an understatement? He said it's an understatement of the day so far. Yeah, understatement of the day. He said, do you have immunity for your testimony? He said, I don't know. Ask my lawyer. I have some type of offer agreement, proffer. Hold on. I need to get this picture off my screen so I don't get my video took down. So he does have some type of proffer, but I don't know what the proffer is. Maybe we'll get some more details on it. I think that should be public. And you didn't tell anybody about this? He said, yeah, I told my wife. Let me do my little hearts here. Did you meet with the government this morning? He said, yeah, about what might come up on cross-examination. At least he's being honest. He seems honest. One new update from CNN. Okay, we're getting breaking news here. Defense, that's Mark Agnifilo, challenges ex-assistant's testimony with inconsistent accounts of the diner incident. Mark Agnifilo referenced documents from David James' meeting with the government, highlighting one where his account of the Mel's Diner event ended before he returned to Diddy's home. He said the government had instructed him not to say anything that could incriminate himself. The documents also indicate that at one point he told them some of the events took place inside the diner, even though he testified today they occurred outside the diner. Yeah, but it's a drive-in, right? So inside outside is like the same thing. It's like a drive-in. So like if you're outside, you're still eating. If you're driving in, let's look at it. I don't know. I don't think I've ever been to Mel's Diner. Let me just see if there's a picture. So there is a building you can go in. Do you have a website? Okay, so there's a few locations, 17 locations. So I don't know which one. I don't know which one it could be. If you're more familiar with LA, I guess you can say it in the chat. I'm not gonna probably be looking at the chat right now. I have to keep up with this, but I will check it in a little while. All right. Okay. Did the Mel's Diner incident come up? This is Mark Agnifilo. Diddy's lawyer, did the Mel's Diner incident come up when you talked to the government this morning? He said, not that I recall. Okay, so this morning, what did you talk about? He said, your style. I love this guy. Okay, official cousin status. This man is my cousin. I just know it. Because guess what? When he saw this, he left. And that's what I did too when Lou Taylor tried to get me to stop talking about her. That kind of feels like blackmail to me. That kind of felt like blackmail to me at the time. If the feds want me to testify against Lou Taylor that she has this type of a controlling and malicious and vindictive and socio-freaking-pathic tendency, girl, I will. Put me under oath. Anyway. Agnifilo asked, did the Mel's Diner incident come up when you were prepping this morning with the government? He said, no, we were talking about you. And then everybody kind of laughs. He said, I'm dying to ask. Mark Agnifilo is funny. He is aggravating and probably doesn't have a soul or a heart, but he is funny. He said, I'm dying to ask what they said about my style. but I'll refrain. So you do, like, a lot of people were saying they think Agnifilo should have been more aggressive, like Nicole Westmoreland was, like I said earlier. However, y'all got to remember, like, if it just looks like Diddy only hires jerks, it might make it more look like, and I'm not saying she was a jerk. I think it obviously sounds like she did an amazing job. People are saying that she ought to be the main attorney on the case, and she ought to take more of the cross examinations. However, you do need a little bit of everything, and so I do see why Agnifilo, and he's also a white man too. You know, like you do got to be aware of how you are coming across. Like if you're just like all the time, like it's not going to work. And Agnifilo, I think, is trying to sort of be a little bit enduring. Like, look how cool, look how charismatic I am. I'm also Diddy's lawyer. Also, he has these really good other like cross examiners. I don't know what on earth Teeny Garagos is doing here, other than Diddy might just trust her, because she don't seem like she has any freaking idea what in the hell she's doing. She seems like about as the apple don't fall far from the tree. Okay, so we have another update from Washington Post. Shayna Jacobs. Before the trip to the diner, Cassie was crying and begging him not to leave the Los Angeles home. Cassie previously told the jury she was scared of what Diddy would do and begged him not to go. This is 2008. Okay, so a long time before we are right now. Okay, this is like close to 20 years ago at this point. 2008 was 17 years ago. And a lot closer in time proximity to the whole, it was like 10 years, you know, had passed or whatever, not, you know, between the Biggie and the Tupac and all of that. David James drove Diddy's Lincoln Navigator to the diner. He recalled having a weird sense of calm on the ride with Diddy and a security guard in the vehicle. The former employee's testimony may help support the prosecutor's theory that Diddy had an army of enforcers who enabled his violent and allegedly illegal conduct. Okay, CX for subscribers later. So he's going to give us some more details, Inner City Press. Okay, let's go to NBC. Anything else? Let's go to the Daily Mail. This is a news source today. I haven't been using this one. I'm not gonna lie. It does feel like I'm ready to see this Punisher's testimony. 10/18, Diddy kept embarrassing video of assistant to assert control. David James said he once took EX and went to a Diddy party. He was Diddy bopping. I was also drinking Ciroc that night, he said. Normally, I'm very straight edged. I don't have much emotion. I was dancing, Diddy bopping all around the party. I was just vibing, enjoying myself. A few days later, Diddy confronted him with a video of him dancing at the party. Diddy said, I'm going to keep the footage in case I need it. So earlier when I was reading Inner City Press's tweets, I had kind of interpreted it as if the videographer was the one that threatened him. He said, no, Diddy himself. Diddy said, I'm going to keep this footage in case I ever need it. It was so out of character for me that it probably would be embarrassing if he released that footage to the public. And this reminds me of the time that one guy passed out at the party and Diddy was like, this is what happens to the white boys that pass out at the Diddy party, ha, or whatever. Oh my girl, they knew what they were doing with that picture. Daily Mail. Usher, Neo, dragged into Don Richard testimony. And not only him, also Jimmy Iovine. They spelled his name wrong. I wonder if that's a coincidence. Richard said on the stand yesterday that Diddy punched Cassie in the stomach during a private argument at a West Hollywood restaurant in 2010. She claims several celebrities were at the diner, including Usher, Neo, and superstar music executive Jimmy Iovine. Mr. Combs punched Cassie in the stomach. Richard told the jury they were having a private conversation, but we were all sitting eating at the tables together. Some of the bad boy label mates and some were celebrities. They were secretly arguing and he punched her in the stomach. Cassie immediately bent over and he told her to leave. I could see him point and she went out. Diddy's ex-assistant shares details of Suge Knight incident. David James told the court that he quit as Diddy's assistant after an incident involving the mogul's rival Suge Knight in 2008. David James said Diddy's friend, I think it was a bodyguard, D-Rock, noticed Suge Knight, at a famous diner in LA and approached him. Suge Knight allegedly asked D-Rock, "What you doing in my city without checking in?" Okay, I added the checking in part. What are you doing in my city? That's what Suge Knight asked D-Rock. The two guys then went back to Diddy's house. Diddy allegedly grabbed 3 pews and instructed David James to drive back to the diner. This was the first time as his assistant that I realized my life was in danger. I told him I want to leave, but I gave 6 months notice so I could train the next assistant. Let's see if Washington Post has anything else. Yeah. We have an update from Washington Post. Anne Brannigan, former assistant this 4 minutes ago, seems to corroborate the 2009 Cassie incident. Before talking about Diddy's hotel rooms, former personal assistant David James described a night in 2009 when Diddy entered his LA home in a rage over a blog post on a gossip site. This must have been the blind item. Remember whenever Cassie was like, "My mom called me over the blind item"? It was a blind item that kind of like described us, but it was not naming us by name. And then Cassie was like, "Then my mom called me, but then I lied to her and I told her that wasn't about me." Oh my God, this is so funny. Stop. This is funny. David James said he had the quote day off, but he was still at Diddy's estate because he was working on a research project for Diddy. He was looking up possible tattoos online for Diddy. David James recalled that Diddy arrived home in the early morning hours after a night of clubbing. He was upset over a blog post. He beelined straight towards me and he looked up my search history on the computer that I'd been working on, James testified. Diddy wanted to see whether he had written the blog post. A few days later, he was given an assignment to deliver a meal from Roscoe's. They make delicious fried chicken, he elaborated, to Cassie at the London hotel. Cassie had been there about a week. When he arrived at the hotel, David James said he was surprised to see one of Diddy's staff answer the door. He said, "I was expecting to see Cassie." The event that David James outlined recalls Cassie's testimony from last week, in which she described Diddy brutally assaulting her in a car. She had visible injuries, and Diddy allegedly told her to decamp to the London hotel to recover. Let's go back to Inner City Press. Oh my Lord, y'all, we get another Diddy lawyer 58 seconds ago. Diddy docket alert. Diddy now adds a 10th member to his legal team. This time, Jonathan Bach, the husband of Alexandra Shapiro, who's already on the team. Interesting. Inner City Press covered his work already once before. In the Trump, he doesn't represent Trump, surely. The Trump SPAC trial. I don't know what the trial was about. A SPAC is a special purpose acquisition vehicle. It's like a way to kind of like reorganize a company, and without doing an IPO, you like launch a new company and you can get investors without an IPO. It was always a little bit like the bottom's about to fall out for me, but you know, money's fake anyway. It's all just fake. So buy gold. Let's see. Oh, interesting. Okay, well, we got some good updates here from CNN.com. We got another new picture of Mark Agnifilo. I need to take a screenshot of this. I like to use new pics for the thumbnails. There's really not that many pictures of Mark Agnifilo, honestly. Oh, hold on. We can also look up Jonathan Bach. All right. Let's see. It's 1 minute ago, CNN.com defense, that's Mark Agnifilo, challenges ex-assistant's testimony with inconsistent accounts of diner incident. Defense attorney Mark Agnifilo referenced documents from David James's meetings with the government, highlighting one where his account of the Mel's Diner event ended before he returned to Diddy's house. He said the government had instructed him not to say anything that could incriminate himself. So he pled the fifth. He didn't say anything else. The documents also indicate at one point he told them some of the events took place inside the diner, even though he testified today they occurred all outside the diner. David James said, I think your notes are wrong. I think this is inaccurate. He maintained his recollection of the majority of the events, and it has remained consistent. He said Agnifilo asked David James, whether he spoke up at any point when Diddy was allegedly telling him to get back in the car to return to Mel's Diner, or when Diddy was sitting in the back seat with 3 pew-pews. He said, this guy is funny. This is our cousin, y'all. Quote, where's my pen? Here's David James. First, here's Agnifilo. So did you say anything? Did you speak up at any time? When Diddy told you to get in the car and drive him back to Mel's Diner, did you speak up when he was sitting in the back with the 3 pew-pews? And this is David James. Respectfully, sir, you have someone with 3 guns in this close proximity. So I didn't really think I had the option to say anything. Agnifilo also grilled James about his conversations with prosecutors this morning, before he took the stand, again asking if James was prepped on how to handle the Mel's Diner incident. He said no, but they did mention how to handle you. And then people laughed. He said, how'd I do? Agnifilo asked, laughing, and he goes, consistent. David James is a powerhouse. What is he doing now in his life? 4 minutes ago, defense, so Mark Agnifilo asked, this is CNN.com reporting, asked the assistant if he was ever granted immunity for testifying. And he said, I don't know what the details are that were brokered by the attorney, but he believes that he signed a proffer agreement. And this is the type of agreement that gives a person some type of protection from prosecution if they testify truthfully. He said, quote, I just respect Diddy from a business perspective. He said he testified today. Before he began working for Diddy, he was a fan of Sean John, the clothing line. He said he knew Diddy to be successful, self-made businessman who was a, quote, brilliant marketer. He said, I just respect him from a business perspective. Let's go back to Inner City Press. Why is that doing that? Hold on. Is that like, there we go. All right. Sometimes it just is glitching a little bit. That's why you ain't gonna catch me put no chip in my brain. This glitches. All right. Here we are 8 minutes ago. He says, all right. That was fun. I do have a few more mundane questions. David said, I love mundane questions. Oh my God, he's funny. Where did you travel with Diddy? Ibiza. Okay. 40th birthday party. Y'all remember Ricardo Tisci? He just got sued himself for SA, not criminal. And it's no proven guilty anyway, but Ibiza, London, Saint-Tropez. Were these vacations? He said, no, it was business oriented. That was my job. What were you hired as? He said, well, I was hired as a personal liaison, but I was a personal assistant. He said, and he met a lot of high level roster people. James said, yeah, second understatement of the day. Agnifilo said, why? He said he met with the who's who. Agnifilo said, so it was important to be prepared for these meetings, right? He said, yeah. Was it important to be on time? He said no. We would change meetings to fit his schedule all the time. When he didn't want to show up at a certain time, we just decide not to. So Diddy is not punctual, according to this assistant. Okay. The defense suggests, so Agnifilo suggests that, I guess D-Rock might gonna be, okay, prediction. Prediction alert, prediction alert. I think D-Rock is gonna get called as a witness. I think D-Rock is gonna get called as a witness. I think he's gonna say, here's the prediction, write it down in your notebook. I think he's gonna say he didn't go that night to the house. That's not true. It was David James. He's the criminal. That's why Mark Agnifilo finally, first person that was asked out of everybody, did you get immunity? They're going to try to pin some of this stuff, this is my prediction, on David James. But it's going to be hard because I promise you the jury really likes him. But Mark Agnifilo 1 minute ago, is being reported from CNN.com, suggested that this ex-assistant left D-Rock at the restaurant. Defense attorney Mark Agnifilo suggested repeatedly that David James actually left D-Rock at the restaurant and he went back with Diddy to get him. So that's what they're going to say. They're going to say, no, we had to go back to get D-Rock. We didn't go over there for the pew-pew of it all. David James denied this each time, testifying that it wouldn't have even made sense. He's laughing. He's like, so you didn't leave him at the restaurant? David James, no. That's when Mark Agnifilo said, why are you smiling? And he's like, because it's a stupid question that makes no freaking sense. So you didn't leave him at the restaurant. Right. I did not leave him at the restaurant. Okay. The travel straddled a quote. Oh, here comes financial. Here comes financial. Get Lou Taylor. Get Lou Taylor. Everybody put get Lou Taylor in the chat. I want to try something. Combs travel straddled a fine line between business and personal. Please, nobody contact Lou Taylor. I'm talking about my chat. Nobody contact Lou Taylor. Thank you. Diddy's travel straddled a quote fine line between business and personal, the ex-assistant says. During the cross-examination, David James, a former assistant to Diddy, was pressed about his travel with Diddy. James testified yesterday that he did travel extensively with Diddy, including internationally. But today, defense attorney Mark Agnifilo asked if these were business trips or personal. He said there was a fine line because Diddy's, this helps. This right here is a very helpful piece of testimony for the racketeering. Okay. There was a fine line. Oh, also, y'all, do you know today Big U's trial started in California, Central District? James said there was or it was supposed to, it could have got pushed off. Actually, I need to go look it up. I think it might actually got pushed off to 2026. I need to look that up. So put a pen in that idea. Anyway, so he said there was a fine line between Diddy's personal life and his business life because the personal life and the business life blended together. He described them as, quote, business-oriented trips. We have a new update from NBC 5 minutes ago. The mundane is appreciated in this courtroom. A trial filled with lurid and disturbing details of abuse. The promise of mundane questions was welcomed in the courtroom. In his cross-examination of James, defense lawyer Mark Agnifilo told the witness that he had a few more mundane questions. I like mundane questions, James answered, drawing laughter from the gallery. He recalled how much he admired Diddy and his desire to work for him. He said, I actually wore Diddy's Sean John clothing line early on. I was studying abroad in London in 2004. And people would come up to me and they would say, where did you get Sean John from? And I understood his global reach, his brand. I wanted to work for him. He was successful, self-made, a brilliant marketer. Nice. So again, it's just all making him seem very credible because it seems like he doesn't have some type of personal vendetta. He just didn't want to die. So, okay, here's Agnifilo. He asks his next question. He had security. This is Diddy's lawyer to the former assistant. So he had security because people wanted to like touch him, right? He said, oh, yeah, in the airport, in the McDonald's, wherever we were, people were trying to touch Sean P. Diddy Combs. Was he gracious? The assistant said, I don't think gracious is a word I would use to describe Sean P. Diddy Combs. Did he ever sign autographs? No. I'm sorry, I like this witness. I really do. So they are going to try and say like these pew-pews that the security had were legal. They were registered. They're going to try to say this was for Diddy's safety. They're going to probably try to say, people, and it is true. It is true. If you're a celebrity, your life can be in danger at any moment. So that's kind of what they're going to try to say. It wasn't some violent gang. It was legitimate security team. But David James already said the magic words. He already said it was just so hard to tell between what was personal and what was business. So ABC News, are they actually updating? I don't think I actually have anything updated here. Let's go to CNN. Nothing. Let's go to the Daily Mail. Oh, look at that. Trump bombshell drops in witness disgusting freak-off testimony. Not only that, Obama bombshell too. His face was on the EX pills. Why? Why? I watched this Indian movie, and y'all, nobody's doing movies better than Indian movies, okay? I watched this Indian movie about this like global trafficking cult, and they were trafficking rugs mostly, but they would put like a certain death, like a skull stamp on like the cargo. Nobody would touch it. Once it was stamped with this certain stamp, police would stop at the borders, and you just had to let them go. Like it was like bigger than any government, bigger than anything. And now every time I see that a rug is stamped with something, I'm like, that's the brand for the gang that made it or the group that made it. Like I just think, all based on a movie I watched. I mean, take it with a grain of salt. Trump Hotel. Oh, this is the Trump bombshell. Oh, that's not that big of a bombshell. I did point it out. Is Daily Mail watching me? They just put this out after I said this. All right. 1027. No, nothing new. But look, I mean, they were friends, y'all. I don't really care what you say. You're never going to look how far apart this is. He looks the same. Look at him. Has to be like the late 90s. And look here. This is much later. This is like in the last probably 5-7 years. Oh, Sharray Hayes. We finally get a name. Sharray Hayes is the Punisher. And then the former chef is Jordan Atkinson. Interesting to know. Ooh, we're getting some details, y'all. Oh, interesting. Ooh, interesting. Okay, 15 minutes ago, we have Shayna Jacobs from Washington Post saying the defense is suggesting that Suge Knight incident didn't even happen, at least not the way that the former personal assistant is saying it did. Mark Agnifilo asked David James if he objected to going with Diddy to look for Suge Knight. You didn't say a thing? Respectfully, sir, you have someone with 3 pew-pew in that close proximity? I did not think I had the option to say anything. He did agree with Agnifilo that this incident was a radical departure from normal events during his time serving as Diddy's assistant. 6 minutes ago, we get, Samantha Sherry. We have a new reporter reporting from Washington Post. She says former assistant alleged setting up baby oil and rugs in a separate lawsuit. Testimony from David James, a former personal assistant to Diddy, calls to mind similar allegations mentioned in an SUL battery lawsuit from a man by the name of Phillip Pines. He alleges he worked for Diddy as his assistant from December 2019 to 2021. He alleged in his December 2024 lawsuit, so last year, end of the year, Phillip sued. He alleged that as part of his job, he was instructed to set up red lights, ice buckets, alcohol, MJ joints, honey packs for male libido. That's the Kanye honey that he got sued. They said he's addicted to this honey. Baby oil, Astroglide towels, illegal substances. What? I am not going to be looking up what that is. Some type of machine. Okay. Y'all can look that up on your own time. I would do so with caution. Okay. But it is a certain type of, what the hell? Ugh. Anyway, so he also called them Wild King Nights. This Phillip Pine's personal assistant said he was occasionally also asked to bring extra supplies to the room while the event was going on. After the party was over, he would have to clean up, pack up the supplies, remove the substances, bodily stains, he alleged, and Diddy has denied all allegations against him. Let's go to Inner City Press. Doesn't look like anything new there, but we do have 3 updates from CNN. Yeah, this is what I thought too. But let's go in order. He's funny. I'm sorry. I don't care what you say. The ex-assistant said he would not describe Diddy as gracious. When Diddy would go out in public, people would be almost in a mob around him, asking for autographs and trying to meet him. But then Diddy's lawyers asked if Diddy tended to be gracious in these situations. He said, I don't think gracious, no, would be a word I would describe him as. He typically didn't sign autographs. And he also said that his staff members would often sign the autographs to mail out to fans. Interesting. Sorry, y'all. I'm trying to keep my voice. It's actually like aggravating to have to stop and take sips, but we're not going to make it through the whole 2 months if I don't. Okay, second car used to protect Diddy from potential threats. David James, a former assistant, testified he typically rode in a second car. Okay, so usually it was Diddy and then another car following, which this does happen with security detail. In Hollywood, it's very normal. He said that he would typically ride in a second car to accompany Diddy wherever he went. He said there was usually a second car traveling with him for security reasons. The security personnel typically operated a second car to the right of the vehicle transporting Diddy to prevent anyone from pulling up on him and potentially unaliving him. Okay, so former assistant's testimony helps the prosecutors to establish RICO charges against Diddy. David James, a former assistant to Diddy, is an important prosecution witness for his ability to tell jurors what it was like in the music mogul's inner circle. According to CNN analyst and criminal defense attorney Joey Jackson. This is a quote. He takes you to the enterprise. He takes you into the enterprise. Remember about the overall charges. You are looking at RICO, the Racketeer Influenced and Corrupt Organizations Act. It used to describe 35 offenses, okay? 35 offenses, y'all. So only got to prove 2. All right? Anybody still curious as to how it's RICO and it's not ST and it's not, DV? They got 35 offenses listed that all qualify under one of those supposed RICO prereqs or whatever. Kidnapping, unaliving. There's 35 total in the act. So all they got to do is show 2. The prosecutors, let me correct myself because I did just say something inaccurate. The prosecutors have not charged him with 35 offenses. There are 35 offenses which would qualify. So I don't think they actually did charge him with this. That is what they charged Big U with, though. He's got the RICO and they got the unaliving. I don't think Diddy is charged with that, and he's not. So just to stand corrected, he's not charged with that. Prosecutors have said Diddy ran a criminal racketeering enterprise in which he and some of his inner circle coerced women into participating into substance-fueled S performances he called freak-offs. Quote, and this is from that legal analyst lawyer, quote, so what prosecutors are doing is getting to this bad behavior, not just to dirty Diddy up, which they are doing effectively, but also to get you to that RICO issue. Not only is he a bad guy, he's a bad guy running a criminal enterprise. Now, David James, an assistant for Diddy from 2007 to 2009, also said he recalled a conversation. Yes, this is very, very important. I pointed this out yesterday, but I wanted to, I'll read it here because this like actual criminal defense attorney or whatever is saying it. He recalled an incident with Cassie where Cassie said, man, this lifestyle is crazy. And he agreed. And he suggested she leave. He said that Cassie said, I can't get out. That means coercion, this lawyer analyst did say. This is the government's theory. She had no real choice but to do what she was doing. That's what they're saying. The defense obviously vehemently objects to that, denies it. Over 4 days last week, Cassie testified she endured physical and sexual abuse from Diddy and detailed how he orchestrated the FOs. Diddy has pleaded not guilty to the charges. One new update. Ex-assistant 1 minute ago, CNN.com, describes demanding work condition. He said that one of Diddy's assistants had to go to the hospital for dehydration after working with Diddy for 24 hours straight. He said the work was demanding, but he was prepared for the moment, and he even enjoyed it at times. He testified there was a common saying among Diddy's security guards. You know what rhymes with tired? Fired. Sounds bad. Okay, let's go back to Inner City Press. Okay, new tweet. Agnifilo says to David James, so you said Diddy would stay in the studio until 3 or 4 a.m. and you would stay with him? He said, yeah, that was common. What sort of things would he always want to have with him? He said ketchup, for example. Did you know he put applesauce on cheeseburgers? Ew. He said, no, but I did know he liked applesauce. He liked Astroglide, protection items, and baby oil, but you didn't expense it through the business, right? He said, usually not. So that will help Diddy. So they were in the studio till 3, 4 a.m. commonly. I don't know what the applesauce must be going to come in soon. Did you know he liked to put applesauce on cheeseburgers? That sounds nasty. I don't like applesauce though. So let's go to ABC News. We do have a new update from ABC News. Okay. Former assistant testifies he stocked up Diddy's hotel room with freak-off supplies and procured drugs. As Diddy's then personal assistant, David James testified that he was required to ensure Diddy's hotel rooms were stocked with 40 different skincare products. A Louis Vuitton bag that routinely contained $10,000 in cash and probably 25 or 30 different pill bottles. He testified that he procured the drugs for Diddy, sometimes prescription perks, which he told the court sometimes he filled under his own name. Did you give him permission? Did you give him or anyone else permission to fill prescriptions in your name? He said, I don't recall that. James also testified that Diddy allegedly took EX pills marked with the face of former President Obama. And Obama was the president at the time, wasn't he? He got voted president in 2008. So that's interesting. How often would Diddy take them? He said he saw Diddy take substances every single day. Obtaining and distributing narcotics is among the alleged racketeering acts. Hello, incels in the back. If you're still somehow confused on how it's a RICO, here's one right here. Obtaining and distributing narcotics is not domestic violence. I know it's very difficult for some of y'all bots to understand because your masters have programmed you not to understand it. But obtaining and distributing narcotics especially under somebody else's name who works for you, isn't domestic violence. All right. But it is among the alleged racketeering acts. So I hope that helps y'all. Probably won't. Seems hopeless. In his testimony, James recalled taking EX and dancing around one of Diddy's parties, and later he testified that Diddy reviewed footage of the party. He noticed James in the footage allegedly told him, "I'm going to keep this footage in case I ever need it." He also testified that Diddy liked his hotel room stocked. Baby oil, Astroglide, protection, prophylactics, I don't know what that is, that he paid for in cash, provided by one of the security guards. James further testified that in 2008, Diddy asked him to bring an iPod to a hotel room in Miami. Since James had set up the room, he had a key and opened the door to let himself in. He told the court, quote, I saw Cassie on the bed. Quote, she had a white comforter up to her neck, her head to the side, and she just did not move when I entered. He also told the jury that he remembered a gentleman in the room that he did not recognize. He was completely naked, about 5'8" with a very large endowment. The man scurried out as if he didn't want to be seen. One new update from CNN. Diddy didn't want to have a record for buying certain items, the former assistant said. A minute ago, CNN.com, David James testified that when he purchased these personal items like baby oil, personal Astroglide, he would ask the security for cash from Diddy's bag. He said he was instructed not to submit these items for reimbursement through the company because they were items, quote, he didn't want a record for. Defense attorney Mark Agnifilo asked James to confirm that meant that the company didn't pay for these items. And David James said, I mean, it's all his money, the company money, the money in the bank, whatever. But it will come down to be pretty important, like what he was actually using his business money for, especially if any financial shenanigans end up rearing their head, which I do think they are probably gearing up for. Okay. We do have some new tweets from Inner City Press, thank God. He's my favorite news source. I like this source the best. Yep. I was told, okay. So remember the last time we read a tweet on Inner City Press, the most recent tweet we read, it was this one. Agnifilo said, but did you know that he put applesauce on cheeseburgers? He said, no, but I knew he likes applesauce. He liked Astroglide and baby oil and other stuff, but you didn't expense that through the business, did you? And he's like, no, usually no. He said, I was told that he didn't want to run them through the company. He didn't want a record of them. He said, when you bought the 8-ball of cocaine on Saint-Tropez, pronounced Saint-Tropez. I thought it was pronounced Saint-Tropez. Are you telling me that Mark Agnifilo doesn't know how to say it, or I've been saying it wrong? I thought it was Saint-Tropez. Somebody tell me if it's pay or pez, because I used to be saying Saint-Tropez whenever I was just an ignorant little bayou rat, but now I'm a slightly educated bayou rat, and I thought it was Saint-Tropez, but I never been. When you bought the 8 blank of cocaine in Saint-Tropez, you didn't tell Diddy, did you? He said, no, he was asleep. Remember, he said he felt like he just didn't, like he was supposed to do it. If one of Diddy's friends calls me and asks me for something, I think, Diddy's my boss, I got to get it for him. He said, I wasn't about to wake Diddy up for that. We do have a new tweet. Now, this right here, family. A lot of racketeering enterprises do call themselves and refer to themselves as family. So anytime you see people saying something like family, capital F, family, it's going to help me. It's going to help the family. It's going to help Amanda. It's going to help the family. Just have your antennas up, if you know what I mean. Tell me about, this is Agnifilo still. I mean, it's 11:09 a.m. and they still on cross-examination here. Tell me about your relationship with Roger Bonds. I think this is another security guard. We talked about Bad Boy as a family, he said. What do you mean? Agnifilo said. David James said, Mama Combs called me her son many, many times. I guess that's Janice. I wonder if she's going to testify. She can be compelled, but I don't know why you would compel her if you're the government. Mama Combs called me her son many times. What was the mission? Make sure he's happy. Dang, this helps with a RICO right here. Because the RICO is what was the purpose, right? A RICO, a racketeering enterprise must have a purpose, a common purpose. And the government has argued that the common purpose was to please Diddy and especially particularly his depravity in the SUL department. So the fact that now we have the former personal assistant saying, I talked to Roger Bonds, I talked to Mama Combs, I talked to these people as a quote, bad boy family. And what was the mission? Make him happy. RICO elements being laid brick by brick. That's like one of the anti-astroturf like things they're doing. They're saying brick by brick. Purpose of the enterprise. Please, Mr. Combs / make him happy. Uh-oh. Diddy bopping. Boop. Okay. What was the mission? Yep, bunch of yes men. Oh, man. So the ones that got immunity, I think they're going to be called snitches. All right. New question. Was it fun? He said, yeah, I enjoyed it from time to time. What was your relationship with Chef Jordan? He said, professional. Agnifilo out of left field. Did you choke her? He said, no. And then the assistant U.S. attorney is like, objection, Your Honor. What on earth? Did you choke her? Okay, sidebar. Come do the super secret little whispers. Oh. Yeah, too slow, I think, inner city press. Let me go to our other sources. One new update. 5 minutes ago, abcnews.go.com, former Combs assistant tells court he drove an armed Combs to allegedly confront Suge Knight in 2008 at LA Diner. According to former Sean Combs assistant David James' testimony, Diddy dispatched James and a security guard named D-Rock to Mel's Diner in LA at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. We pulled into the parking lot and D-Rock looks over and says, "That's Mother Suge Knight." James testified, clarifying for the jury that the then chairman of Death Row Records was Diddy's rival. James testified that D-Rock approached Knight and said, "It's me, D-Rock, Biggie's boy." While waiting for their food, James testified that 4 black SUVs pulled into the parking lot and that he allegedly saw someone pass Suge Knight a pew-pew. At that point, D-Rock said, "We got to effing go." James testified that when he returned to Diddy's house, Diddy and Cassie were outside arguing. Cassie looked very distressed. She was telling him not to go. James told the court that Diddy told him, "Get behind the wheel of the black Escalade and drive to the diner. MFing go." He testified that Diddy told him from the backseat of the vehicle. James further told the court that Diddy had 3 pew-pew on his lap at the time. "I was really struck by it." I think he said shook. Woo! I realized the first time being Mr. Combs' assistant in my life, I was in danger. A short time later, he gave his notice. On cross-examination, Mark Agnifilo challenged his recollection of the event, which prosecutors have said supports their contention that Diddy was the leader of a criminal enterprise. "Did you leave D-Rock at the diner?" James smiled and laughed. He said, "That is a crazy statement." Asked why he didn't object to returning to the diner with an allegedly gun-carrying Combs, James answered, "You have someone with 3 guns in close proximity. I didn't think I had the option." "You were executing the mission," Agnifilo asserted. He said, "No, I was doing what I was told." 2 updates from CNN. All right, cool. So 3 minutes ago, CNN updates us. Diddy's list of preferred items allowed for consistent environment, James says. Defense attorney Mark Agnifilo has followed up on David James' earlier testimony that Diddy typically had a rider that listed preferred items that must be in a location before Diddy arrived. And Agnifilo confirmed with James that a rider is common for a high level person traveling. You know how some of these people be like, I only want blue Skittles or whatever, I mean, blue M&Ms in my room or whatever. He agreed that the rider did allow Diddy to have a consistent environment wherever he went. Heinz ketchup, for example, was always on the list. Ketchup was a big item he always needed for his food. So it was just the consistency to create a consistent environment for wherever he was. Earlier today, James talked about other items that he had to lay out before Diddy's arrival, including clothing, a toiletry bag, a medicine bag, food, drinks. He said he would organize a collection of about 40 products, mostly skincare for Diddy and hotel bathrooms, when he restocked personal items such as baby oil, lubricant, and other things. And then he would ask security to be reimbursed. He had testified yesterday. Part of his job was to prepare hotel rooms for Diddy with a list of items and to get every environment comfortable. So he just had his little items that he liked. Okay. 18 minutes ago from Anne Brannigan of the Washington Post, defense counsel Mark Agnifilo was fairly aggressive as he cross-examined David James about his account of an incident involving Suge Knight. Agnifilo's demeanor with James was markedly different than his treatment of Kerry Morgan on Monday, which he periodically apologized for asking her questions. Agnifilo clearly did not want the jury to hear James's story. Earlier Tuesday morning, before the jurors entered the courtroom, Agnifilo fought to have the testimony barred on the grounds that it was not relevant. So he didn't even want to have to be doing this cross-examination. The government persuaded the judge to keep the testimony, however, arguing that James's story supported the racketeering charge. More details emerge of what it's like to be Combs' personal assistant. Other notable moments from the defense ongoing cross-examination of Sean Combs' former personal assistant. He said he was prepped by prosecutors this morning for defense attorney Mark Agnifilo's questioning. This is normal. Agnifilo, who appeared not to expect that detail, responded, "Fair enough. How'd I do?" Consistent. James deadpanned. The government witness also gave more detail about how Diddy ran his company, saying he was involved with everything. He was involved with everything. Ooh. Ooh, this is interesting. He said he once worked 21 days straight for Diddy, and he credited his work ethic to being raised in Flint, Michigan. Shout out to him. Another assistant said once he went to the hospital. He said another assistant one time went to the hospital after working a 24-hour shift. David James said that Diddy's security detail used to have a saying, you know what rhymes with tired? The answer is fired. The applesauce on Diddy's hotel riders, by the way, we now know, thanks to Agnifilo making sure that it got into the headlines, that Diddy likes to put applesauce on his cheeseburgers. I just don't like applesauce. It's nasty. Okay, y'all, we getting some more names. We getting some more tweets. All right. So did you choke the chef? So I guess Diddy's about to blame this guy for choking the chef, because I think the chef is coming in as one of the witnesses. Did you choke a chef? No. Sidebar. Okay, so then tell me what happened. Okay, fine. We were on Star Island. This is Miami. She told me where to take him. I grabbed her 2 wrists and said, stay in your effing lane. Was there a fallout? He said, well, it was reported to corporate headquarters. Diddy called me in. And Diddy called me in and said, what? What did he say? Diddy told me, you can't be putting your hands on women. He told me to give her a gift. What did you give her? I rolled up a 420 and I gave it to her. Did she like that? He said, it appeared she did. So Diddy is, even though it appears like Diddy is the nice guy here, what is he telling you? Diddy is saying, when you beat a woman, you gotta give her a gift. Isn't that one of the allegations being made, that he would be nice sometimes and buy stuff sometimes, take care of her financially? If you buy stuff, that's how you make it right. So even though it looks like Diddy's being a good guy by saying you can't put your hands on women, he is showing you that he knows you better give her a gift. Not go apologize. No, give her a gift. All right, next question. So you were in a car with Diddy and who? He said Chris Lighty. And you have taken EX? He said, I used to party. Sure. What were things like in the studio? Substances? He said, yeah, it's a creative environment. 18 seconds ago, he said, but I did not smoke when working with Diddy. But he did catch you. In your home. Maybe in for the night. He said, I didn't smoke when working with Diddy, but he did catch you smoking once. He said, well, I thought he was in for the light, but I think this means night. I think they mean he was in for the night. He said, I lit up. He came out. He said, what are you doing? I said, nothing. Oh my God. Mark Agnifilo is a little garden gnome. Okay, so David James says, well, Diddy caught me smoking out in front of his house. I thought he was done for the night. He said, if you man enough to smoke, you're man enough to tell me. I said, okay, I'm smoking. He said, if I did it again, I was going to be fired. Next question. How about when you picked up 2 S workers and had with one? Objection, Your Honor. 403 overruled. So the judge is letting this line of questioning come. She asked me for $200. I called Roger Bonds and asked, what the hell? She asked to take a shower. I said, that's $200. He's stupid. So, okay, so he picked up 2 S workers, I guess, and he actually had relations with one of them, and she asked for $200, and then he called Roger Bonds and asked, and then this girl asked to take a shower, and he goes, all right, $200 to take a shower then, since I owe you $200. So I don't know. He might be a womanizer. He might not be the best of all time, but he is funny. Agnifilo said, on that note, no further questions. I'm done. Redirect. What about the incident in Alpine, New Jersey? So now we are back to talking, listening to the questions from the prosecutors. So they did their first line of questioning. It was called the direct examination. Then they did the cross-examination that was just now concluded by Mark Agnifilo. And then now the prosecutors, the feds, get to ask their own questions about what Agnifilo just brought up. Okay, so to file a police report. Okay, so she asks the prosecutor, Slavic. So this is Chrissy, and Steiner is Mitzi. What about the incident in Alpine, New Jersey? He said to file a police report and say that file a police report and say that Chef Jordan had been the aggressor, but I didn't file it. I drove around and told him that I had made the report. Hopefully we get some more context here. Let's go to CNN. Okay, 11 minutes ago, ex-assistant says he felt a sense of mission while working for Diddy. David James testified there was a camaraderie among the staff, and they would often say Diddy's record label was a family. Mama Combs called me her son at one point. I bet she did. James confirmed that he felt a sense of mission while working for Diddy, and defense attorney Mark Agnifilo asked him what the mission was. He always said, the mission was to make sure he was happy and prepared for the day. 7 minutes ago, the assistant testified he did not tell Diddy about the cocaine procurement for Diddy's friend. The defense attorney asked, to Mark Agnifilo asked David James to confirm that he never told Diddy before or after he procured cocaine for Diddy's friend while they were on a yacht in Saint-Tropez. Agnifilo suggested that Diddy wasn't actually involved at all in that situation, and James said he fulfilled the request because he just simply wanted to. But David James said he did view it as a work-related task and that he did have to do it for Combs' personal friend, but he did acknowledge that he did not tell Diddy about it. We do have 2 new updates from NBC News. Security guard did worry that Combs would be shot, David James says. The security detail often included a second car when Diddy was traveling, and David James said that his team was suspicious of anyone pulling up on him. James testified that people would often try to touch Diddy or ask for his autograph, which the former boss wouldn't sign. He said staff would sign items and then send them out on Diddy's behalf. I don't think gracious is a word I would use to describe him. The security detail would also do the, what rhymes with tired, fired. Though James admitted to Combs that he was tired once after running a red light, he did not get fired for it. So one time James ran a red light and he did say to Diddy, sorry, I'm just tired, and he didn't get fired. Witness testifies with protection, though no crime is apparent. James disclosed he was testifying under an agreement with prosecutors, though there's been no evidence so far that he would need legal protection. The defense has been pushing James to disclose any details he might have made with any deals he might have made with the prosecutors to testify, particularly about the Mel's Diner incident, when Diddy and his team allegedly armed themselves to look for the rapper. Well, I think Diddy and them are going to say that he had more to do with it. That's what I think it is. He said he had signed a proffer, which is a legal agreement that generally protects witnesses from prosecution for what they say on the witness stand. But so far, there's been no evidence any crime was actually committed against Knight by Diddy's team on the early morning of the Mel's Diner incident that would indicate James needed protection. It's probably just a blanket for any and everything. Diddy called Cassie moldable early in their relationship. On cross-examination, Mark Agnifilo returned to David James's testimony that he overheard Diddy tell a business associate that Cassie was moldable and that he had her right where he wanted her. She's young. James said this conversation occurred very early on, and Diddy and Cassie's relationship. He said Kim Porter, the mother of several of Diddy's children, had recently moved to LA, and Diddy had been spending more time there. The defense finished 1 minute ago cross-examination, and prosecutor Christy Slavic was back up for redirect. Court is taking a 10-minute break. David James is off the stand, and the trial is adjourned for a 10-minute recess. I bet you they are going to bring up, is it going to be the Punisher? Is it going to be Cassie's mama? Who is it going to be? Diddy need to catch up at every meal. He is nasty. The man is possessed by demons, if I do say so myself. Okay. We have an update from Daily Mail UK. Diddy's kids are not in the courtroom this week. 6 of 7 of the kids showed up last week. Oh, what's the one that didn't show up? Oh, the baby. But none were present on Monday or Tuesday. The mogul's sons, the 3 sons, endured all of the harrowing testimony by Cassie last week, but his twin girls and his oldest daughter, Chance, stopped attending halfway through the week. The twins, Jesse and Delilah, put their father's legal woes aside for the evening as they danced the night away in matching dresses for their high school prom night. It's not clear why Diddy's sons did not show up to court on Monday as they did throughout the week. And one of them apparently wants to date her daddy. I mean, that child right there couldn't look more like Diddy and Chance. What's his name? Christian King. Let's see what Inner City Press. Okay. What about the incident in Alpine, New Jersey? File a police report. Say that Chef Jordan had been the aggressor, but I didn't file it. I drove around and told him I did make the report, but I actually didn't. What have we asked you to do? The feds asked to the assistant. He said, you've asked me to tell the truth. Nothing further. All right, recross examination. So here's Agnifilo. So you lied. This is Agnifilo. You lied to Diddy about filing the police report? He said, yep. Nothing further. Can we have a break? The judge is like, yeah, okay, can I have a break? That was like 4 minutes ago. Let's see. CNN's got us update. Diddy confronted David James about David James' altercation with the chef. During the cross-examination of David James, the former assistant to Diddy talked of a time when he was in an altercation with one of the chefs. He asked, Agnifilo asked him about the altercation, and he did acknowledge he did get into an altercation with one of Diddy's then chefs, a woman at Diddy's Star Island home in Florida. David James testified he grew upset when the chef tried to tell him where Diddy needed to be. I grabbed her 2 wrists and I squeezed her wrist and told her to stay in her lane. The altercation was reported to Human Resources at Bad Boy and eventually made it back to Diddy, who confronted James. And that's what he testified. When he told Diddy what had happened, Diddy said, you can't be putting your hands on women. And he warned that he would have to fire James if it happened again. Diddy told him to write the chef a note and get her a gift. And James did so. And she eventually forgave him. He testified. Let's go to Washington Post. There's David James right there. Okay, that's the most recent. Okay, let me pull up that video I found. I know it's nasty. Yeah, I know. Misa is Justin's mom. Yeah, no, I don't know why James is grabbing wrists. He shouldn't have done that. Okay, I'm going to look up that video of David James and Diddy from when he was working for Diddy. David James. All right, look at this. Oh, my Lord. Oh, my Lord. Y'all, look at this. Hold on. Look. This is the video I was trying to show y'all. This one right here. But look, there's another one. This one's how to make a Diddy, how to make an OG Diddy. This one's 1:20 long. So let's. I don't know if.
Gentlemen, adults over 21 that don't drink and drive and drink responsibly.
Ladies and gentlemen, adult. Oh, this is David James's YouTube channel. Wow. Okay, so he's like, okay, ladies and gentlemen, adults over 21 that don't drink and drive, drink responsibly. Welcome to Diddy's Friendly Neighborhood Bar.
Yes, this is in my back.
That's David James right there. That's him. This is his channel. Look. Oh, I need to subscribe, girl.
Of my luxurious Beverly Hills estate. Yes, I have a bartender full time.
So I have a bartender full time. Now, I mean, we know that that was actually his personal assistant.
It just stands here and makes me my favorite drink. A Diddy, which I'm going to show you how to make today.
What's the Diddy?
You can make in your home, in your backyard, by your personal bar. You take 1.5 ounces of Ciroc vodka.
1.5 ounces of Ciroc vodka.
Like so.
Like so.
3 ounces of
And
lemonade.
he's laughing. 3 ounces of lemonade.
Like so.
Lemonade, vodka. This is a Diddy.
Can you shake it up?
So it's just vodka and lemonade. That's the Diddy. Okay, there's the Diddy, but there's another video how to make an OG Diddy. It's totally different music.
This is my new drink, an OG Diddy.
A new drink.
OG.
OG Diddy.
Recipe. You take 1.5 ounces of Ciroc vodka. Only make it with Ciroc vodka. Other vodkas don't work.
Other vodkas won't work,
Then
everybody.
you take 1.5 ounces of lemonade.
Then you take 1.5 ounces of lemonade.
Pour like so. Then you take
He ain't even measuring.
1.5 ounces of Welch's grape juice.
Then you put the grape juice.
Welch's grape juice. Only OGs know about Welch.
And it's got to be Welch's. Y'all know he's got his brands. He likes Heinz ketchup, Welch's grape juice.
That's why it's called an OG Diddy. Okay? Then you shake it like so.
I'm sorry, this David James is funny. He shouldn't have been grabbing people.
Then you pour like so. Now you don't have to have your own bartender to do this. You can do it at home if you're possibly.
Okay, so that isn't even what I even wanted to show y'all. Let me show y'all this. They having a bitch assness outbreak. When is this from? 16 years ago. 887 views, everybody. That's how many views this has. 887 views. The bitch assness disease is spreading quickly. A recent outbreak in New York has Diddy's assistant, David James, infected with the disease. This is from April 30th, 2009. This is the year he quit. Remember, he said it was an incident in 2009 or 8. Was it 2008 or 2000? Now I'm getting confused because he testified about incidents in 2008 and 2009. So don't quote me, but this is from 2009. Who's that? The Frosted Flakes. The Frosted Flakes. I didn't even notice the Frosted Flakes.
This is an NBC News special report. This is Al Pennyfeather, and I'm here in the heart of Times Square, New York City. And it is just bitch assness rampant everywhere.
I want to know how they got Dave Pettyfield. Who are these Scientology actors they got to play newscasters for this? That's what I want to know. We're out here. There's a bitch assness outbreak.
I look up, down, and all around. I just seen about a dozen people walk by me that had just so much bitch assness in them.
887. He said this guy talks like Adam Grant Mason, if you ask me. He said he had they having a bitch assness outbreak. He just saw a dozen people walk by with it.
It's ridiculous. Orange alert. I repeat. I thought it was quarantine. Let's go back to Sheila in the studio.
There are several signs of bitch assness. Short-term memory loss,
So they got another fake newscaster, and she's saying there's several signs of bitch assness.
excessive excuses, chronic blinking, scratching.
So what is it? Excessive excuses, chronic blinking, and scratching. That's what bitch assness is. Again, this is David James. He's testifying right now. I think he just finished.
Please use precaution before coming into contact with anyone, for they may be a carrier of the disease.
Here's David James.
Who is it? It's David. I'm here to go get
That's him. Here to go over your schedule.
schedule for the day. Schedule? I don't know. You haven't been infected with the bitch assness disease. You were supposed to be here an hour ago. I know, sir.
You were supposed to be here an hour ago.
Got stuck in traffic.
I got stuck in traffic.
Get here from the studio.
Very interesting because the jurors were stuck in traffic today.
This is first sign of bitch assness.
Excuses. First sign of bitch assness.
Did you bring my iPod with you for my runners?
Did you bring my iPod with you? What's the freaking iPods all over the place?
Morning?
He forgot the iPod.
I think I forgot it, sir. Let me go get it right now. David has been infected with the bitch assness disease. David, you have been infected. Move away from my door right now. No, sir. I'm clean. There's no bitch assness here, bad boy.
No, sir, I'm clean. There's no bitch assness here at Bad Boy. Why? Because you know what rhymes with tired? Fired.
Hello. Yes, I need you to get over here right away.
He's calling the cops.
It's a bitch assness up at the penthouse, floor 100.
The penthouse, floor 100. Get over here right away.
All right.
Please.
I'll be out in a second.
And then here comes the people to spray him.
That was close, y'all. Bitch assness is back. Please do yourself a favor. Go to SeanJohn.com for your t-shirt, Cure. Or dial 877-55 bitch ass immediately. It's running rampant out.
What were these videos? You know what I mean? Like what was that? What was the Frosted Flakes? What? We have an NBC update. Let me go over there. The iPod. What is the iPod? Just my opinion. You're funny. It sounds like those old Playboy Mansion videos. I never even heard about that in NICU grad. No, Addison Starr, it's not called comedy because you want to know something about comedy. It's supposed to be funny. So good try. You're banned. You tried. You did. You really tried. That was so cute of you. It looked like they were maybe friends, but Diddy was actually a monster, Delilah said. What was the Frosted Flake? It was Usher. Him and Usher used to fight over the Frosted Flakes. Yeah. Good try. Tell him, Birdie. It's a good try. Thank you, Monica. Shout out to Monica. Shout out to Diamond Rainbow. Yeah, it was a skit, but it was like now knowing what we know, like, I don't know, there are some questions. Okay. Let me go back to Inner City Press. 15 minutes ago, they took a 10-minute break. That's about how they usually be. That's about how the timing has been working. 10-minute break, 15 minutes later. All right. Diddy scolded James for altercation with female chef. Mark Agnifilo threw a bit of a curveball during his cross-examination at David James. The defense attorney asked if he ever choked Diddy's personal chef, who they referred to as Chef Jordan. James answered that no, never choked her. The government objected to the line of questioning, but after a brief sidebar, Agnifilo was allowed to continue. James said he was annoyed with the chef, seeming to tell him what to do. Then he grabbed the chef's wrist and told her to stay in her effing lane. Agnifilo asked what consequences James faced as a result of the encounter, and he recalled Diddy asked him what happened, and then he told James, you can't be putting your hands on women. You do it again, I'm going to have to let you go. He recalled Diddy telling him. He said Diddy told him to write the chef a note and get her a gift. The gift of 420 that James rolled. 2 new updates for NBC. Okay. So the same incident is being discussed 10 minutes ago, NBC. We have a quote here, though. Quote, Mr. Combs heard about it and called me to his room. He said, James said, quote, I told him what happened and he said you can't put your hands on a woman. This is one of 2 occasions when Diddy warned James that he could be fired. The other time was when he smoked 420. David James said he did not follow Diddy's order to report the chef to the police. He said he didn't always get along with Diddy didn't always get along with his former personal chef, Jordan Atkinson, David James claims. After one physical confrontation between Diddy and Atkinson in Alpine, New Jersey, Diddy asked the asked the personal assistant to report Atkinson to police. Ooh, this is actually, this is confirming or kind of corroborating. This is corroborating Jonathan Ottie's testimony where he said that, and other people who have sued Diddy and then their lawsuits get dismissed, where Diddy is like actually setting them up for something he did. So he told me to call and make a police report saying that Chef Jordan had hit him. So Diddy told, we're getting more details here, 4 minutes ago from NBC News, Adam Rice and David K. Lee. Diddy apparently, this is what David James testified this morning. Diddy apparently told this David James to make a police report against Chef Jordan, but for a separate incident. There's 2 incidents that happened with Chef Jordan. An incident where Diddy put his hands on her, and an incident allegedly where what's his name admits to grabbing her wrists. He says, but with the Diddy incident, Diddy told me to call the cop, basically make a police report saying that Chef Jordan was the aggressor. He said, I didn't file it because I didn't want to make a false report. I went out and I came back and told him I made the report. Wow. One new update. Cassie's mom, breaking news. Cassie's mom, Regina, takes the stand. Diddy's former personal assistant has finished, and the government has now called its next witness. Your Honor, I call my next witness Regina Ventura. She has been sworn in already, and the prosecutor, Emily Johnson, is going to begin the questioning. This is the one that did the opening statement. 1 minute ago, CNN.com, Cassie's mom is the next witness on the stand. The jury is coming back in now. Prosecutors have called Regina Ventura, Cassie's mom, to the stand. I was kind of hoping the Punisher was next because I think it's going to be kind of scandalous, but Cassie's mom probably knows some stuff. Yes, indeed. All right, they're back. We're on Inner City Press now. Air it all out. Air it all out, girl. Okay, what do you ask you to do? Tell the truth, nothing further. Break. Okay. They're back. Jurors, I'm going to try to get the temperature turned up in here. The judge said, I'm told it's complicated, but I'm freezing right along with you. And everybody laughed. The government calls Regina Ventura. All right, here we are, 11:46. They're probably going to break for lunch, I guess, probably within the next hour. Cassie's mom takes the stand in Diddy trial. All right. "39 seconds ago, we got another tweet. Where do you live?" She said, New London, Connecticut. How many children do you have? She said, 2, Roderick and Cassandra. Who is this? She said, Sean Combs. He dated my daughter. Mama Bear on the stand. Got a new update from CNN. David James said that Diddy told him to lie about an altercation with a chef on redirect. David testified that Diddy once asked him to falsely report to the police about an altercation between Diddy and the music mogul's then chef in Diddy's house in Alpine, New Jersey. Combs instructed me to say that the chef was the aggressor and hit him first. James said he didn't want to file a false police report, so he drove around New Jersey for a while. When he eventually returned to the house and he told Diddy he made the report. He testified. Let's go to Washington Post. Okay. 2 updates just now, and it seems like we're just finalizing and finishing up the further context and the further details of the David James testimony here. Anne Brannigan just now, Washington Post. She says during the redirect, government asked David James if Diddy himself ever got violent with Jordan Atkinson. This is the chef. I expect that she will be brought up to testify, Jordan Atkinson, his personal chef. James replied there was an incident at Diddy's Alpine, New Jersey home. James said that Diddy instructed him to file a police report saying Atkinson was an aggressor and hit Combs. The former personal assistant said he didn't want to file a false police report, so he drove around New Jersey for an hour before returning to Diddy's home, where he lied and told his boss that the report had been filed. Just now, Shayna Jacobs from Washington Post reporting the witness is coming up. Regina Ventura, the mother of alleged victim Cassie Ventura, she is about to begin. She's already begun. She said where she's from. She said, she was able to identify Diddy. Okay. Let's go to ABC. Okay, they haven't really updated in a while. 45 minutes. Yeah. Let's go to Daily Mail. Diddy demanded ketchup for every meal. During cross-examination, Diddy's former assistant, David James, told the court that the mogul demanded he had ketchup for all his meals. Ketchup in the UK is not similar to ketchup in America. Diddy would not be happy. The court also heard that Diddy likes to put applesauce on his cheeseburgers. Blech. Wait, I'm trying to go to Inner City Press. Oh, look. Look at him. Diddy said Cassie has competition for star witness title. David James brought his truth and laughs at court today. 53 seconds ago, we got a new tweet. Now, Cassie's mom is on the stand right now. When did you meet Sean Combs? She's being questioned by the government. She said 2006. My daughter signed with his bad boy records. He was her boss. Then they started dating. They moved to LA. Read this message from December 2011. She said, Cassandra wrote to me. Let me look up and see if there's any more sources reporting live. Fox News. They doing live updates? Okay, why not? David James gets defensive during cross-examination, calls out Diddy's lawyer for crazy question. Former assistant became defensive after testifying. He was cross-examined by Agnifilo. Agnifilo asked him, both of her parents. That's both of her parents? That's Cassie's dad. Really? Wow. I didn't know that. Interesting. Look, there's a picture of the guy crying. Agnifilo asked if James left Diddy's security guard, D-Rock, at the diner during the Suge Knight incident, and he laughed and said that was a crazy question. He would not have left D-Rock alone at the diner. He is 100% sure. That's a new quote. Agnifilo asked some more questions, and James became a little defensive, saying the incident was like 20 years ago. Let's go to Washington Post. Colorful cross-examination of David James concludes. One final exchange from an eventful cross-examination. Defense attorney Mark Agnifilo asked about an encounter he had with Roger Bonds and two female S-workers. Bonds was a security guard for Diddy. James said he was not aware at the time that the women were S-workers. He and Bonds met the women for drinks and dinner at a hotel. Okay, we're getting more information on that alleged S-worker incident where he told her that the shower was $200. He and Bonds met these women for drinks and dinner at a hotel, and then he brought them back to Diddy's room. Diddy was not there at the time. After they had relations, James said Bonds told him to pay one of the women $200. James didn't part with that money bag for long, though. Prompted by Agnifilo, he explained that the night ended with the woman wanting to take a shower, which James charged her $200 for. Agnifilo was tickled, laughing at the response. So you got your money back, the lawyer said. He said, yeah. Mark Agnifilo is going to represent this guy if he ever needs a lawyer, I think. Like, I feel like they had like a little bromance on the stand. Like in a cute way, not in a bad way, whatever. Like I can laugh. Okay. So we have two updates from CNN.com. Let me get a little sip of my hot drink. Not sponsored by Yeti, but I'm going to tell y'all, Stanley could never keep something this hot. Could never. It's been in that cup for about 4 hours, and it's hot. And I keep leaving the top open, the little flap. Not sponsored. Shout out to my friend Pamela. She gave me that. Regina recalls meeting Diddy when her daughter signed with the record label. The prosecutor asked Regina to identify Diddy in a photo and explain how she knew him. She said, well, he dated my daughter. She said she first met Diddy when her daughter, Cassie, signed with Diddy's record label, Bad Boy Records. Regina Ventura said when her daughter and Diddy started dating in New York City, she would see her daughter about 3 or 4 times a year. When Cassie moved to California, she would even see her less frequently, usually just around the holidays. She said it was harder to get to her. We do have another update. What to expect. Yeah, I want to read this. What to expect when Cassie's mom takes the stand by CNN's Chris Boyette. Cassie's mom, Regina, who's expected to take the stand later today, may help prosecutors make the argument that her daughter was coerced and can speak to Cassie's state of mind. Okay, so she's going to talk about the coercion and Cassie's state of mind. Quote, this is the legal analyst. This is a CNN legal analyst and a criminal defense attorney. I think they're going to get to any behavioral differences as it relates to Cassie's behavior when she got into the relationship with Diddy versus ongoing and ending the relationship. That speaks to whether she's been coerced. It speaks to her real state of mind. This is because this issue of coercion is a big battleground, right? Agnifilo and Diddy's team seem to be implying everything was totally consensual, including getting dragged down the hall, including being threatened and all of this stuff. That was just simple domestic violence, including the fact that she was actually his employee. That speaks to whether she's been coerced. It speaks to her real state of mind. The issue of coercion is a big battleground. You either were a freak and you did this and you knew what you were doing, or you did it because he forced you to, so to speak. Prosecutors have said Diddy ran a criminal racketeering enterprise, which he and some of his inner circle coerced women into participating in drug-fueled performances. Diddy has pleaded not guilty to charges that include racketeering, So Jackson, this lawyer, said she also could testify if her daughter ever shared her feelings with her after the incidents as a recent outcry witness. That's admissible evidence. That's not hearsay whenever you go straight to somebody as soon as something happens and tells them, I guess. And it goes to the critical issue of whether she was consenting. From a defense perspective, it's a nightmare to cross-examine a mother. Prosecutors have also said Regina can testify, okay, y'all, listen to this, that in December 2011, Diddy demanded that she was going to pay him $20,000 for money he spent on her daughter after she learned that Cassie was romantically involved with Kid Cudi. Regina actually took out a loan and wired the money to Diddy. The money was wired back to her without explanation. Diddy's attorney, Mark Agnifilo, argued that she should be allowed to say that and should not be allowed to say that in court because it would be prejudicial to Combs. But the judge said Agnifilo can object when it comes up in testimony, and then he'll deal with it at that point. Let's go back to Inner City Press. Okay, we do have some more tweets. Wow, this is really crazy to see this like almost in real time. I mean, look at all the reactions. Okay, so then her mom, so then if you recall, the most recent tweet is read this message from December 2011. Regina, Cassie's mom, said Cassie had written to her. She said, this is Cassie's mom. She said Diddy threatened to release a SEX tape and also threatened to go after her and Kid Cudi. She's asked then, Emily Johnson asks, how did that make you feel? No. How did you react? She said, it made me sick. Diddy demanded $20,000 to recoup the losses due to Kid Cudi from my husband and myself. Why did you take a loan to pay Diddy? She said, for the safety of my daughter. Look at the binder next to you. She did so. She says, these are the photos I took of my daughter's bruises from Diddy. I'll just get to a couple of these. Shout out to I think Aries for becoming a member. Shout out to Allison for the $5 super chat. Diddy preparing for one last FO before jail. He's like an addict getting one more hit before rehab. And I've said that. Thank you, Allison, for the $5 super chat. Thank you, Taz, for the $5 super chat. The escort on the bottom left looks like Ash Armand, who murdered his ex-girlfriend and was arrested last year. He's on a show called Gigolos. They did have somebody on a show called that. I don't know if that's him. Thank you, Taz, for the $5 super chat. Thank you, Adam Freeman, for the $20. I know you strain your voice a lot. Herbal tea, honey lemon. When I did horror movies, I would scream 4 to 6 hours a day. Oh my gosh. Herbal tea, honey, and lemon. Got it. Got it. I am doing herbal tea. It has ginger, turmeric, and jaggery in it. And I have some honey too. Friend of Ghost, thank you for $4.99 super chat. Thank you, Unnamed and Unindicted, for the $2 super chat. Good morning, BJ. Have a great day. Thank you, Aussie Mel, for the $10 super chat. BJ, I was thinking the reason the judge is giving them so long for the dockets to be released is that there are so many they need to redact. Maybe, but they need to get it together. Thank you for the $10 super chat again. Shout out to Mickey becoming a member. Shout out to Combe Ogbedobor. Come. Must be Come. Ogbedabar. I like to learn how to say stuff right. I don't know if I'm saying it right. But shout out to you. Thank you so much for the $1.99 super chat. Thank you, Elizabeth, for the 40 sec super sticker. And shout out to Tina for the $20 super chat. Hope you get more than M&Ms today. Thanks for all you do. If you need to eat while you're live, we don't mind. Girls got to eat. Thank you, Tina. Thank you so much. Thank you, Brian Hill, for the $1.99. Merci beaucoup. This is great journalism, BJ. Girls, just opinions, just reading opinions. Thank you so much for the €2.49 super chat. Danique Moss. Okay, let's see if there's any more updates here from Inner City Press. Nope. Nothing new. Let's check out ABC. Are they actually updating anything here? I'm going to move them down the row. Let's go to CNN. Nothing new. We do have a new update from NBC. A minute ago, Cassie's mom said Diddy wanted $20,000 for Cassie tape. Okay, this is very interesting. And the S tapes of it all are just kind of coming out in my mind, like Ray J, Kim Kardashian, like what was really going on with that. And prosecutors revisited an email Cassie sent to her mom, Regina, in 2011. So Cassie sent an email to her mom in 2011. And in this email, Cassie said Diddy was threatening to release explicit videos of Cassie after he learned she was dating Kid Cudi. She said, I was physically sick. I did not understand it. The S tape really threw me. He was trying to hurt my daughter. She testified that Diddy wanted $20,000 for the video. Cassie's mom said Diddy was angry that he had spent money on Cassie and that she was with another person. We took a home equity loan and it was the only way we could get the money. Oh, man, y'all. If this is true, it always does come back around to you, though, doesn't it? I bet you nobody's more embarrassed right now than P. Diddy. Huh. Sicko. If true. I think it's true, though. I do believe it. Okay. Do you know Mia? Now, Mia's not her real name. It is Mia's not her real name. It is an alias, like a Jane Doe or whatever. But the mama said, yes, I do. Do you know Mia? She was an employee of Diddy. What happened? Well, we were in his kitchen laughing, and Diddy asked her why she was laughing. And then she stopped, and she just looked very plain. And this is going to be a witness. She's going to testify. This Mia. All right, fine. Let's move forward to August 2016. About 5 years later. Now we're done with the binder. Let's move forward to August 2016. Now, March, April, May, June, July. This is 5 months after the Intercontinental Hotel incident. Okay, so the Intercontinental Hotel incident had already happened. And we have an update from CNN. Let's see what they have to say. Cassie emailed her mom about Diddy's S-tape threat. The mom testifies. So again, this not only corroborates Cassie's story, adding some more backup to just so you don't have to take Cassie's word for it. Let's say they don't find Cassie to be a credible witness. Okay, fine. Her mom is corroborating it. Also, it shows other stuff too. Coercion, fraud, showing that Cassie, like if she did try to get away from Diddy, what would happen, without having to take Cassie's word for it. You have indisputable evidence in the form of an email, which you are still taking Cassie's word for it. But we heard earlier today that that $20 wire transfer did eventually get forwarded back to Cassie's mom from Diddy. So Cassie emailed her mom about it. She testified her daughter emailed her in December 2011 to say Diddy was threatening to release explicit S tapes. This appears to mesh with Cassie's earlier testimony that Diddy threatened Cassie. So it goes along with it. The email said, quote, "The threats that have been made toward me by Sean Puffy Combs are that he is going to release 2 explicit tapes of me, one on Christmas Day, maybe before or right around, and another soon after that. He also said he will be having someone hurt me and Scott Mescudi physically. He made a point that it wouldn't be by his hands. He actually said he would be out of the country when it happened." Regina Ventura said that she felt physically sick. Now imagine having to just sit on this and not be able to do nothing for the last 15 years. She said she got physically sick when she read the email. The message was sent under an alias, Veronica Bang, the mother said. The email was also sent to one of Diddy's employees. I don't know which one. Quote, "I did not understand a lot of it. The tapes threw me. I did not know the other person, but I knew he was going to try to hurt my daughter." One new update from CNN. Cassie's mom says she wired money to Diddy because she was scared for her daughter's safety. Regina, the mother of Cassie, said Diddy also contacted her about the same time that Cassie told her that Diddy threatened to release sexually explicit videos of her. Diddy told her he needed to recoup money he had spent on Cassie in the form of $20,000. Regina said Diddy was angry. Her daughter was now. Cassie's mom said Diddy was mad that Cassie was in a relationship with Kid Cudi. She said she and her husband took a home equity loan out to obtain the $20,000. Quote, "That's the only way we could get the money." So I don't know how on earth they're going to later on say that Cassie somehow gave the $30,000 to Kerry Morgan for the bride payment, or the NDA, the hush money payment. Whenever her mom and dad had to refinance their freaking house or take a loan out for it. Diddy's bookkeeper. Which bookkeeper? Ooh, let it be TriStar. Ooh, y'all, every day I wait and every day I'm disappointed. Diddy's bookkeeper, which freaking one, sent Regina Ventura an email with wire instructions. So she went to the credit union and wired the money from her and her husband's bank account to the bad boy account. Regina Ventura said she did it because she was scared about her daughter's safety. She said 4 or 5 days later, the money was returned to her account, but she did not have any communication with Diddy about it. So she doesn't know why it was returned to her account. Now, Mark Agnifilo was trying to keep this out. Apparently, it ain't getting kept out. She said, the mama said she documented. Yes, listen, y'all. One thing, you can become a victim. Anybody can be a victim. Anybody can be victimized. However, a lot of times the thing that really does stand the difference for a victim is when their parents are still in their life, still love them, and are supporting them. Everybody become a victim. I'm not saying, oh, you don't have any parents and you're going to be no, that's not what I'm saying. But this mom, she knew what she could do and what she couldn't do. And she took those pictures. She documented her daughter's injuries. She took those pictures of the bruises, her bruised daughter, Cassie, in late 2011 to make a record of the alleged beatings at the hands of Diddy. She was bruised. This is a quote. And I wanted to make sure we memorialize it. They need to stop saying Ventura. They need to start saying first names because there's 2 Venturas here. She told jurors about the photos that she took in December. We have an update from CNN. Jury sees photos of Cassie's mom took of her following beating. The jury is now seeing photos of Cassie that her mom took in December 2011 in her parents' Connecticut home after Diddy physically assaulted her, allegedly. Regina testified that she took photos to keep the evidence. She was bruised, and I wanted to make sure we memorialized it. Regina said her daughter told her at the time that she was beaten by Diddy. These photos were first admitted into evidence during Cassie's testimony. The mom said December 2011 was the first time her daughter told her about Diddy physically abusing her. Now, Cassie testified in her testimony that she at this point did not tell her mom about the freak-offs at this point. She only told her about the abuse. Regina testified about a time prior to that when she read a blind item. And I think this is the supposed blog post from like 2009 or whatever, or 2009, that Diddy allegedly got so mad about. I think the blog post and the blind item might be the same. She testified about a time prior when she read a blind item about a celebrity getting beat up in a car with no names included. She said she asked her daughter if it was about her, but Cassie told her it was not about her and Diddy. The mom said. Let's go to Inner City Press. Who's the bookkeeper? Because Lil Rod Jones said that the bookkeeper, the accountant, was Robin Greenhill from TriStar Sports and Entertainment, who would wire money to S workers. Now, I don't know if that's who this is. I don't know. While you were in LA, did you call the police? Cassie's mama said, yup. Diddy stole Cassie's phone. They had a bitter argument outside of her apartment building, and she lived on the 17th floor, and they argued at the roundabout. Who else was there? She said D-Rock. Damian Butler is his government name, the Fed said. Cassie's mom said, he was standing between us. I tried to hit him. I like this mom. I mean, no, I don't like that part. That's not good. But, you know, she didn't do any harm. The security guard was standing between us. The security guard, Damian Butler, was standing between us, and I tried to hit him. Diddy took Cassie's car, a Jaguar. No further questions. Cross-examination, no questions. The defense has no questions. This is the first breaking news, 12:12 p.m., Tuesday, May 20th. Defense had no questions to ask, so this is done. And we did read this a few minutes ago whenever we read that what to expect with Cassie's mom's testimony thing. The lawyer said that no defense really wants to be questioning a mom. It's not a good witness. Next witness, the Punisher. Oh, Lord, here comes the Punisher. Oh, my God, I'm scared. Oh, my God. Cassie's mom came in, and now she's leaving. Next witness. The government calls Mr. Sheree Hayes. Where are you from? Harlem, New York. What was your work? Male exotic dancer. I was known as the Punisher. Oh, my God. Okay. That's it. NBC has an update. All right. 2 minutes ago, Cassie's mom called police after Diddy took her daughter's phone. She once called police on Diddy after Cassie told her mom that Diddy had taken her phone. Ventura testified that they had a bitter argument outside Cassie's apartment building, and she tried to get Cassie's phone back, but Cassie was inside her apartment at the time. I was trying to hit him, but I wasn't successful. Eventually, she said Diddy did give the phone back and took Cassie's car and left. So that does say that he did, if her, I'll say corroborate. It corroborates that Diddy would take her phone and would take other things like her car. Other witnesses have testified to this. 3 minutes ago, I don't feel like reading that. Y'all already know that. 2 minutes ago, Shayna Jacobs, Washington Post, said Cassie's mom said she took out a home equity loan in 2011 for $20,000 to satisfy a shakedown demand from Diddy because she did believe that he was going to harm her daughter, Cassie. The younger Ventura, Cassie, who testified against Diddy last week, visited her mom's home in Connecticut for the holidays. And that year, with visible bruises on her body, Regina took pictures of the injuries that were shown to the jury during this testimony. I was scared for my daughter's safety, she testified. 3 new updates from CNN. Bitter argument 2 minutes ago. I mean, they're struggling to get the story out fast enough, y'all, because the man's already on the stand. They're still trying to catch up with what the mama said. Bitter argument with Diddy over stolen phone led to a police call. Regina Ventura, Cassie's mom, said she visited Cassie in LA in August 2016 for her daughter's 30th birthday. She and Diddy got into a bitter argument. Okay, so she was there. Okay, this is more context and this is good. So they got into a bitter argument and the mom saw it. She was there. Cassie went upstairs to her apartment and the mom was trying to get the phone from Diddy and she's trying to hit him. Well, the security did intervene. It's very interesting the security intervenes whenever a mom is trying to get a phone back from Diddy, but not whenever Diddy's kicking the hell out of somebody. That's very interesting to me. Y'all already know what I called him yesterday. I ain't going to jump into the cursing quite yet, but PAB, if you know what I mean. So Diddy stole Cassie's phone, and this is a quote. I wasn't there. I don't know. Regina said she then called the police. We were arguing about the phone. I wanted the phone back, and he was holding it. Yes, mama, you get him. One of Diddy's security guards was standing between them. I was yelling, screaming, trying to hit him, but she wasn't able to actually hit him. She said he was too, the security guard protected him. She did say that Diddy eventually did give the phone back, but then he took Cassie's car. Now, can you steal something you pay for? That's what Diddy's going to say. She was being ungrateful, so I took it back. Regina's testimony finishes without cross-examination off the witness stand. I don't have any questions for you, Agnifilo said after greeting her. Prosecutors say call Sheree Hayes to the stand. Now 51 years old. Oh my God. He said he used to work as a male exotic dancer with the stage name The Punisher from 2012 to 2016. 2 new updates from NBC. Defense declines to cross-examine. I don't have any questions for you. Defense attorneys chose not, this is coming from Adam Rice and David K. Lee of NBC News. Defense attorneys chose not to cross-examine Cassie's mom, Regina Ventura, allowing her damaging testimony to stand uncontested. I do not have any questions for you. Moving on, 2 minutes ago, male exotic dancer named The Punisher takes the stand. He's 51 years old. He still works as an exotic dancer. I don't think he's still doing that. Let's see. I want to see what the Cassie's mom recalls Diddy threatening to release S-tapes of her daughter. Cassie's mom testified Diddy demanded $20,000, 2011. In the email, Cassie said Diddy was going to release 2 tapes. Cassie's email also claimed that Diddy would have someone hurt her and Kid Cudi. Regina said she was physically sick and did not understand a lot of it. She explained that she understood that Diddy wanted the $20K to recoup money he had spent on Cassie. At the time, Diddy was allegedly angry Cassie was with somebody else. It was expected the money would come from Regina and her husband. Regina claimed they took a home equity loan to pay Diddy. When Regina received wiring instructions from who? That's what I want to know. Who sent the freaking wire instructions? Was it TriStar? She wired the money from her checking account to the bad boy account. About 4 to 5 days later, the money allegedly came back. Regina said she did not have conversations with Diddy about the money, and she does not have a copy of the wiring instructions. Okay. I was scared. So she didn't have conversations with Diddy. Who did she have the conversations with? Was it the assistant? Was it the bookkeeper? When she received the wiring instructions, she wired the money from her checking account to the bad boy account. 4 to 5 days later, the money came back. She didn't have any conversations with Diddy about the money, and she does not have a copy of the wiring instructions. I was scared for my daughter's safety, she said. Woo, let's go to Inner City Press. Okay. Do you recognize these two? And they showed these pictures. He said, I do. Mr. Sean Combs and Cassie Ventura. I was hired in 2012 to create a sexy, erotic scene for them. Why were you called the Punisher? He said, because playing basketball on West 4th Street. I'm so sure. I'm so sure. The woman who called you, what time did she book you for? Who called? Midnight, Trump Tower, Central Park West, strip tease for a small group of friends. When you got there, how did Cassie appear? He said, in a bathroom, nothing underneath, a wig. I was expecting a crowd, but there was no one else. She told me she and her husband wanted to create a sexual scene with baby oil. The baby oil of it all, y'all. It's just getting so much baby oil. Let's go to ABC, even though they're not really doing much over here today. What they taking so long over here? I guess they just clocked out. I'm gonna get real. I don't know about them. All right. Yeah, I mean, it was like less than 20 minutes. I mean, total on the stand, I think she was only up there for probably like 5-7 minutes. All right, we're waiting for the Punisher. Joy Helpless? Joy Gel. That's what he called it. Joy Gel, I think. Joy Jelly. That's it. Thank you so much, George, for answering that question and for the $9.99 super chat and also the $4.99 super chat. Shout out to Lenny becoming a member. Thank you so much, Ashley, for the 99-cent super sticker. Thank you, Jess Lee. They need to call Robin Greenhill. She's the one who was assigned to his account. Is it, Jess? That's what I'm wondering. That's what Lil Rod said. Thanks so much for the $4.99 super chat. Thanks so much for the $1.99 super chat star. Perfect. I am just waiting for them to give me another update. Thanks so much for the $2 super chat. KW, Cassie photos of injuries have been released. Yes, they have. I will not be pulling them up on my channel. But they have been released. I'm gonna do a refresh. Come on, more. 51 seconds ago, we got it. Y'all, I'm still a little bit disturbed by that machine that David James testified. Remember the SEX machine? All right. So, oh my God, y'all. Bowls of water with bottles of baby oil in them. She's only not to acknowledge her husband, not to look at him when he came out. Oh my God. Okay. So the most recent scandalous. Woo. Okay. This is a high interest of high public concern. Issue of important public interest and all of that, extreme public interest and all of that. When you got there, how did Cassie appear? She had a wig, nothing on. I was expecting a crowd, but there was no one else. She told me she and her husband wanted to create a sexual scene with baby oil. What did she hand you? $800. How was the room? Dimly lit. Electric candles. So not real candles, electric candles. Bowls of water with bottles of baby oil in them. Okay, so it was hot water. Remember when Cassie said she had to heat up the baby oil? So I'm assuming the bowls of water had really hot oil in them. She told me not to acknowledge her husband, not to look at him when he came out. Did he come out? Yes. He was naked, but I could not see his face. He had on a burqa. It was like what a Muslim woman wears. You only see the eyes. He had a bottle of Astro Glide. How did you recognize it? He said, I use it. The purple top. We got an update from CNN. Punisher details the first time he met Ventura and Diddy. He testified that he met them sometime in the fall of 2012. He said he first got a call from Cassie who told him her name was Janet. Hold on. I think Janice Combs, or was it? Maybe it's Usher's mom I'm mixing it up with. Janetta. Janetta Patton. I think her name might be Janet. Okay, let's get back to this. Whoo, y'all. Oh my God, Melanie, stop it. Not the power. Beep. All right. She said it was sold out on Amazon. Well, girl, that's fine. More for y'all, because I don't. That's what Diddy looked like, except he was naked. That's what they said. Oh my God, all the memes. Okay, let's go to Washington Post. So again, we already had one S worker testify that this is how Cassie would meet them and this is how they would kind of groom them into doing it, right? Where it's like, oh, we're just booking you for a strip tease, but then you show up. Oh my God, there's so many updates here. All right. We got a bunch of updates from Washington Post. One from 6 minutes ago. Jurors previously heard testimony that Diddy was livid that Cassie had been dating rapper Kid Cudi, whose real name is Scott Miscuddy, because Diddy considered it an insult for her to see another hip hop celebrity. Cassie's mom, Regina, said that she subsequently wired $20,000 at his request, but Diddy returned it after 4 or 5 days. Diddy also allegedly threatened to release sexually explicit videos of Cassie, and Regina, her mom, said it made her feel physically sick. 2 minutes ago, we get another update from Anne Brannigan of the Washington Post. Cassie's mom, Regina, said her daughter first told her Diddy was physically abusive in December 2011 when she disclosed in an email as she was traveling home to Connecticut. And this does corroborate what Cassie has said herself. After Cassie arrived back home for the holiday break, she took photos that showed bruising on Cassie's backside, her thigh, the back of her shoulder. The same photos shared in court during Cassie's testimony last week. Cassie said she was injured during a meeting with Diddy shortly after he learned she was dating another musician. During a freak off, not during a meeting. It was during a freak off. Remember, he found it on the computer. Okay. 2 minutes ago, Anne Brannigan, again, Washington Post. Prosecutors' next witness is Sheree Hayes from Harlem. Hayes was a male exotic dancer whose stage name was The Punisher. Cassie testified last week that Hayes participated in FOs with her and Diddy, and he was hired for the first time in 2012. So Cassie did say The Punisher's name. And I remember, oh my gosh, y'all remember hearing that. Diddy's lead counsel, Mark Agnifilo, declined to cross-examine Regina Ventura after she testified. He informed her she had no questions for her and thanked her. 2 minutes ago, they get a description of the Punisher. He's bald and muscular, wearing a black suit and tie. He also speaks with a bit of a lisp. He explained his Punisher nickname, saying it was given to him as a teen and was inspired by his style of play on the basketball court. Yeah, I'm so sure. He has a website for his exotic dancing services. Oh, girl, hold on. Oh, my Lord. Oh, my Lord. Not the annual fantasy cruise. All the videos they've been deleted. Okay. Okay. Well, hold on. I can zoom in at least so y'all can see his face. Hold on. It doesn't have anything actually explicit on the front page, but I'm trying to be careful here. All right, hold on. Look, that's him. He has clothes on. It's not like an actual oh, there he is right there. So he's testifying right now. Yeah, I'm so sure. The Punisher. I'm so freaking sure it's a basketball name. Lie to your mama. Don't lie to me. All right. All right. Get rid of that. Goodbye. So Diddy came out in a burqa, naked, but he was wearing I guess, is the whole thing together called niqab? Is it called a niqab? Somebody with more sense than me. I think the whole full outfit is burqa, and then the hat is niqab. Am I making that up? Oh my God, look what's going on here now. Oh good. Oh good. Excellent. Excellent. Twitter done crashed. Okay. Guess we'll go to CNN. Hayes further describes his first encounter with Diddy and Ventura. He continued describing his first encounter at the Trump International Hotel in New York City. Cassie greeted him at the door in a robe. Okay, she was wearing a robe, and he believes she was also wearing a wig. He did not recognize her at the time, he testified. He invited him into the suite, and she explained that she didn't want him to actually dance. She said her and her husband like to create a sexy scene involving the application of baby oil, and her husband would eventually come out to watch. I will quote, this is a quote. I was specifically told not to acknowledge her husband, try not to look at him, no communication, nothing. After explaining the situation, Cassie handed him a stack of cash and said he could change into underwear or a towel in the bathroom. He counted the $800 in cash, then slipped into a towel. Did the Twitter crash? Let me see if I can pull it up on my phone. At least that would be something. Here, I'm just going to exit out of Twitter, and then I'm going to try to re-go into Twitter. What the hell? Okay, there we go. It's just, thinking real hard. Hold on. All right. We're in. We're back. Here we go. How did it end? She went into the other room with him. When she came back, she asked if I wanted to finish. I said no. If they were happy, I was happy. She gave me more money. Did you do it again? He said, yup. 8 or 12 times. How did you end up recognizing her? He said, I was a fan of Diddy and I followed him on Instagram and I saw her on his Instagram. The assistant U.S. attorney said this would be a good place to break. So the judge said, all right, let's break. So I don't know if this is just a 10-minute break or a lunch break. So let's see if we get a little bit more intel. Y'all, he just went right in. He sure did just go right in. NBC 18 minutes ago. Let's see. Daily Mail, if they have any new updates. This is a new source today. Okay. Sheree Hayes, known as the Punisher, operates a male dancing service in New York. Cassie named him as one of the escorts that she and Diddy had hired. He also previously struggled with ED, detailing his battle with self-worth and mental health in a book. Wow. What? Whoa. Hold on. What? Wow. Leave it to Daily Mail. This guy previously struggled with dysfunction, detailing his battle with self-worth, sex, and mental health in a book titled In Search of Freezer Meat, a story of the male mental health crisis caused by dysfunction and the only true cure no one is talking about. An implant. An endowment implant. Look at this. This man wrote a book about the cure to mental health as his implant. Oh, please. The Punisher says he was hired to create a sexual scene. Oh, a sexy scene. I was hired sometime in late 2012 to create a sexy erotic scene for them on occasion. He said he met the couple at the Trump Hotel in Manhattan, explained her and her husband like to create a sexy scene that consisted, okay, here's a quote, of me and her mutually applying baby oil to ourselves and to each other and create a sexy environment, and her husband would eventually come out and watch. Once she explained this, she handed me a stack of money and instructed me to change into underwear or a towel. I was told not to acknowledge her husband, not to look at him. No communication between me and him. Okay. Let's go to Washington Post. Bald and muscular. We already got that. The court is on lunch. They go on a lunch break. Let's see. Let's go to Fox News. This one's also a new one for today. Why not? Oh, I don't want to show that. Hold on. Okay. CNN does have two new. Now, I don't want to go anywhere yet because, just because the jury leaves doesn't mean the lawyers, everybody leaves. All right, we do have two new updates from CNN. Male escort says Diddy gave Cassie, quote, subtle directions during their first encounter. Testifying more about the first encounter that he had with Diddy and Cassie, the Punisher said he followed Cassie's lead and mimicked what she did. Hayes said that when Cassie began to pour baby oil on herself, he just did it too. He copied her. Eventually, he did see a man enter the room, he testified, and he recalled that Diddy would speak to Cassie, giving her, quote, subtle directions, including adjustments he wanted to the lighting and to how her body was positioned. He said at the end of the encounter, Cassie thanked him and handed him an additional $1,200. The jury did go for lunch break, but we have some more updates that I do want to get in. I'm not sure if I'm going to go on break or not yet. We're just going to have to see how long it takes me to get through this. Hayes didn't realize the man in the hotel room was Diddy. He says of the first encounter. Again, this is at the Trump International Hotel. Testifying about his first interaction with Cassie and Diddy, he said he didn't know who the man in the room was. On another occasion, when he joined them, he's testified that the TV. Oh, okay. So we get another little clue here from CNN.com. He went to go do a freak off with them one day. And he was at the Essex house, and it said the Essex house would like to welcome Mr. Sean Combs. So that was another way. But he also said he was a fan of Diddy and already followed him on social media at the time. After he saw the TV message, that was when he put it all together and recognized Cassie from the photos. He joined the couple for similar interactions between 8 to 12 total times, he testified. Two new updates from NBC. He chronicles his first 2 minutes ago. This is Adam Rice and David K. Lee. The Punisher said he was paid $800 to create a sexy scene for Diddy, all while keeping the eyes off of Diddy. Hayes said he was called to a Trump Tower hotel suite in the fall of 2012. And he was greeted at the door by Cassie wearing a bathrobe and nothing underneath, but she had on a wig. He said, I was handed a sack of money with $800 inside. And Cassie told him to create the sexy scene of her applying the baby oil on each other and create a sexy environment that the husband would come up on. She said, do not acknowledge the husband. Do not try to look at him, and no communication. 2 minutes ago, they went for lunch. Let's see if they're arguing about anything, though, because they usually stay behind and argue. Let's go to Washington Post. 40 seconds ago, who's this? Fox News. I know if y'all don't like it, that's fine, Fox News, but I personally do like to read across all, because that will allow you to put together like some semblance of maybe what is actually happening, because you get the kind of different leanings from every side. So I don't mind reading from all the sources personally. I even watch people I think are plants, because I gotta know what they're trying to do. Male escort known as the Punisher took the stand after Regina Ventura's testimony, and hers was short. Regina testified about Diddy's alleged blackmail of Cassie and the family, along with the first time she learned Diddy was reportedly laying hands on her daughter. Now, the Punisher, he testified that he was hired in late 2012 to create a sexy scene for Diddy and Cassie. He testified that he communicated with Cassie, who used the name Janet. The name is too close to Diddy's mama's name, Janice, if you ask me. The party he was originally hired for was supposed to begin at midnight, but it got pushed back to 2 a.m. Okay, that's a new detail from coming from Fox News. He was supposed to show up at midnight, but it got pushed back to 2 a.m. He claimed it was a party at the Trump Tower, Central Park West in New York City. He explained that he thought he was going to be working for a small group of friends. Cassie greeted him when he arrived and invited him into the hotel, he recalled. He said, I was expecting a crowd. According to him, Cassie said she didn't want him to dance. Instead, she allegedly explained that she and her husband like to create a scene. Hayes said that Cassie explained what she wanted. After she explained what she wanted, she handed him a stack of cash. So is it a sack or stack? Again, stacks, sashes, stashes, sack, stack. It's like nobody knows what anybody's ever saying. He continued that he was specifically told not to look at the husband. And then he came out in a burqa or a niqab or whatever. Shout out to Melanie. Thank you so much for the $4.99 super chat. The power bank. Stop. Shout out to Mind Over Matter. Thank you for your hard work. Sweet Beauty. Thank you so much for the $2 super chat. Thank you, Marlena. BJ, have NT confirm. Oh, girl, I don't talk to him. But thank you for the $1.99 super chat. Thank you, Kate, for the $4.99 super chat. What doctor is the prescriber on the pills? Girl, I wish I knew. It's hard to tell. Now, I could get the pharmacy, I could get the address. Interestingly, one of the addresses they used for Frank Black, that might even be the doctor's pseudonym, because when I looked up the address, what it actually did was put me to a mental health doctor. So it's like, is the doctor writing the prescription in his own name with his own address? I really don't know. Thank you so much for the $2 super chat, Moon and Stars. And thank you so much for never coming back to my channel because you're banned. Bye. Don't give a fuck. Crocs spike with baby oil, 2C and a freak. Thank you, Marlena, for the $1.99 super chat. Thank you for the $3 super sticker, Angela. Elena. Thank you, Fingy, for the membership. Shout out to Fingy giving a membership. Shout out to Don't Look Dumb with Aaron becoming a new member. Shout out to Don't Look Dumb with Aaron for the $5 super chat. Ash was charged with unaliving and is in prison. Whoa. Is that him though from the tapes? The pictures? Since you're awesome YouTube search Diddy Obama. I have seen Diddy Obama. Thank you so much to Cindy for the middle coupe super sticker. $1.99 for the $1.99 super sticker. There's an Obama video. Have you shown it? 1 minute. No, Lola. I'm gonna look for that. Thank you for the $4.99 super chat. Oh, I looked that up. Y'all take a screenshot of this right now. J353RL. Thank you for the $1.99 super chat. Dursty Angle. Thank you for the $19.99 super chat. Thank you so much. Thank you to Cherie for the $5. Yes, the girlfriend unaliving Gigolo. I watched the show, immediately recognized him last night when the pics were released. Oh my gosh, really? Thank you so much for that tip, Ree, and the $5 super chat. Thank you, JW. Moms and adult daughters can be complicated, but you're right. When an adult child star has loving parents, those mama bears will get you now or 10 years from now. Shout out to TSW Amber and CC over here. Thank you so much for the $10 super chat. Thank you to Splendor for the 99-cent super sticker. Thank you, JW, for the $5 super chat. I pray today is the day TriStar must answer questions on her oath, Coram Deo style. Yes. Every day is a new day and a new chance. There it is, and I'll be here. Thank you for the $5 super chat again. Would she need a copy of the wiring instructions to say who sent them? I don't know. They and I'm sure the bank has wiring proof and stuff like that. Can you review the machine testimony from the assistant? No. It was a certain machine called the power blank, fill in the blank, and it doesn't seem like anything fun. Thank you for the $2 super chat. Kanye's recent black burqa. I don't think that was a burqa, girl. I think that was something else. Your lives in the background where I work are giving me life, Jamie said. Thank you so much for the $4.99 super chat. Also sent you a Gmail on Friday with more info about Don't Say. Oh, I will do so. I will look at that. It's been hard for me to really keep up with the emails and stuff. I mean, I'm pretty much doing this all day long now, but I do plan to catch up on my emails at some time in my life. Thank you for the $4.99 super chat. Thank you, Manon, for the $2 super chat. Thank you so much for your thorough work. DOA. What's DOA? Thank you for the $2 super chat, Manon. DOA's cage. Be careful with DOA. He is thinking about ruining it. What does this mean? Thanks so much for the $2 super chat. Thanks so much, unnamed and unindicted, for the $2 super chat. Is blackmail a RICO charge? I don't know. I have no idea. I think extortion was one of them. Was it? I don't know. Off the top of my head. The Punisher is from Megan Wants a Millionaire. What's Megan Wants a Millionaire? I never heard of that. Thank you for the $2 super chat. What is Megan Wants a Millionaire? DOA talked about Rabbit. Don't let him in. I don't know what that is. DOA is a Scientologist and he ruined the Scientology project. I don't know what you're talking about, but thank you for the $2 super chat and for the warnings. Thanks so much to Great Gig in the Sky for the $2 super chat. Best ahead. Heed all the warnings about DOA. I don't know who y'all are talking about, but thank you for the super chats. Morning from Australia. It's 2:30 a.m. here, and you do an amazing job. Whoa, you can go to sleep, girl. Thanks so much for that $7.99 Australian super chat. It infuriates me. Diddy is allowed to release a video daily on Cassie. Wait, did he do that? I don't think he released a video daily. But thank you so much, Shay Lee Moore, for the $7.99 Australian. Again, DOA, I don't know what that is. DOA, Defender of Ants. I don't know what that is. But thank you for the $2 super chats. Thank you. Oh, a VH1 show. Y'all are so funny. It was a reality show. Oh my God, that's crazy. The Punisher was on Megan Wants a Millionaire. That's what they say, and I never even heard of it. Is it Megan Thee Stallion? I do not want to taste a Diddy. Me neither, girl. It looks nasty. Let's see if they have said anything else. Looks like everybody's taking lunch. Let's see. All right. I think I'm going to actually take a lunch break today. I'll be back in I think I'll be back in 30 minutes. Let's reconvene at 1:15. Let's reconvene at 1:15. I'll see y'all then. That's all I had for this one. See y'all in 30 minutes or so. 1:15. Meantime, facts ain't defamation. Love you, mean it. See you very soon. Okay, bye.